at PNC Park, but weather is always a factor. We'll see if the Padres can dodge the weather here tonight against the Pirates. Road trip about to get underway. Jim is back with us.
Hello.
Is the stream good to go?
We're all good. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't.
I know you weren't.
Because if you weren't here, it wouldn't be streaming.
Correct.
All right. So Kevin's going to join us in 30 minutes. John Nolan on Leo DeVries at 3 p.m. Adrian Garcia Marquez at 5:30. Our 2-day wait for this series is now over. Padres last played Wednesday. Dylan Cease tonight, Jim, for the Padres, who has not really had a great start to his year. We'll see what Dylan Cease looks like tonight against Mitch Keller of the Pirates in game 1 of this 3-game series.
Hold on. Were you saying it's raining every single day in Pittsburgh?
Every single day.
Is it going to be raining this weekend?
Yeah. It's a severe thunderstorm watch right now, Pittsburgh, for tonight. Chance of rain, 80%.
So the likelihood of this game being played is...
It's a big league. They figure it out. They get through it.
Oh, they figure it out. They're just, hey, weather, just stop being
I mean, the thing is, in the
awful.
big leagues, unlike, as John Nolan will tell us, at 3 p.m. in the minor leagues, they wait on things in the big leagues, right? They don't just bang games typically on a Friday night because they're going to have, like, good crowds.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I'm just
wait
saying,
it out.
I'm just saying, like, should we, in your opinion, Mr.
I'm the weather guy. Yeah.
Weather guy, should we expect a delay today?
Well,
we can ask Kevin.
Yeah, we'll talk to Kevin. I mean, I'm kind of expecting a delay. Yeah, I'm kind of expecting that.
Oh, shucks.
Maybe the game won't start till 6:01.
Oh, that would be awful.
Suck.
That'd be the worst.
Severe thunderstorm watch in effect right now for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So I don't know if we're going to start in 90 minutes or not. That's when the series is supposed to get underway.
Oh, man.
Shucks.
Darn it.
No, hopefully they play. I mean, that's the thing. You go east and none of these places have roofs, whether it's Pittsburgh, New York, Colorado. What? I mean, you're going to run into it. That's the beauty of being here. You take it so for granted.
Yep. Yeah.
You take it. So I dropped Jones off at school this morning. It was drizzling. I'm like, what is the deal? Has it ever drizzled in May? This is a joke.
Yeah, it's
but we're not going to get severe thunderstorms.
May gray, June gloom.
It's tough here.
Right? It is.
But it's harder there.
It's a struggle here, but man, it's even worse in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Dylan Cease, Mitch Keller.
Oh, matchup of the century.
For Dylan Cease, it's an important game. I would say he hasn't really pitched that effectively as of yet. His overall numbers, yes, skewed by the Sacramento A's start, no doubt about it. But his overall numbers, and we could look up his game log and his day by day. He's been okay, right? And he's had that really poor start against the A's. What are his overall numbers so far this year? He's got a 5.76. He's got a negative WAR. He's got a whip over 1.6 this year. At some point, you'd like to see him get back to the pitcher we saw for most of last year.
You're on Baseball Reference.
I am.
Is it possible for you to compile all his stats and take out the A's game?
Well, the answer is yes. Do you want his ERA?
I want, his ERA in the games that that do not involve the game in Sacramento.
I can do it. It'll just take me a second.
Give me his last 3 starts, because his last three starts have been better. That they have not been to the level that we've seen from Dylan Cease, but they have been better from him.
Here's his last 3 starts. All right, in his last 3 starts, he is, gosh darn it.
Dang it.
Oh, he's got 3.6. 15 innings, so an average of 5 innings per outing. He's got a 3.6 ERA, 15 innings, 19 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned, 18 strikeouts, 6 walks.
Yeah, I would say that getting Dylan Cease back on track here is important. Now, you're still have been really good with him being kind of subpar to start this season.
Right.
But still, we're waiting for Dylan Cease to officially show up to the 2025 season. He's had some good moments, but he's been very average for his standards. And you would like to see him pick it up here because, man, would it be great to have Cease, King, and Pivetta all clicking at once. Now, preferably at the end of the year, right? When you get to the postseason time, having those 3 guys all pitching, amazing. But so far, we have not seen the real, or at least the Dylan Cease that we have come to expect on the field. Like what he did last year, I feel like you saw the best of him, but you also saw kind of what we've seen early on this season, which is like subpar average. But his best is so good that you have that in your rotation, you're going to be a good baseball team more often than not. If when he's pitching like that and with the lineup they have, and if they're back healthy, like, yeah, bring it on.
How about this? 6 starts for Cease, 1 in which he's gone 6 innings. That was against Cleveland in his second start. His last 4 starts, 4 innings, 5 2/3, 5, 4 1/3. So again, it's early. It's April. You're not always expecting your starters to go 6+ innings, but with someone like Dylan Cease, you kind of do expect him to go 6 innings more often than not. And he's done it just once so far this year. He's taking on a Pirates team that hasn't played well. Their offense has not been good at all. This seemingly is a decent opportunity for Cease tonight against the Pirates and for just the Padres in general. Their lineup is out here tonight. They've added, backup outfielder in Brandon Lockridge. He's not in the starting lineup. Tyler Wade, who has played well here in the absence of Jackson Merrill and Brandon Lockridge, is in the lineup here tonight. But again, Cease is taking on a Pirates team that's in the 20s in their offense this year. And the Padres, again, are getting slightly healthier, Jim. They get Brandon Lockridge back. That's not who we're really waiting on. We're waiting on Jackson Merrill, but they did get a little healthier earlier today.
Tatis is leading off. Luis Arraez is at first, hitting second. Manny Machado's hitting third. Gavin Sheets is your DH cleaning up tonight. Xander Bogaerts is hitting fifth. Jose Iglesias sixth. Wadey is hitting seventh. Hayward is in left, hitting eighth. And then Martin Maldonado's behind the dish, hitting ninth. So pretty similar to what we saw over the 2 days against the Giants. Xander's in there, hitting the middle of this lineup once again. And we are just hopefully days away from the return of Jackson Merrill, where he will then be put into the cleanup spot for this team.
Yeah, that's what we're really waiting on. I mean, nobody, with all due respect to Brandon Lockridge, we weren't waiting for you. Now, Tirso Ornelas, who at one point was considered to be a promising prospect, the Tijuana native who made his major league debut within the last week or 10 days, obviously didn't perform well at this level. He'll probably get another chance at some point down the line if there's, ineffectiveness or injury. But you're right. I mean, we're all waiting now. Jackson Merrill, in watching some of this stuff over the last day, now he's running the bases.
Oh, he's ready.
Now he's been fielding a little bit. I guess they're just being like ultra cautious because he's been in Arizona for the better part of the week. They'll give him another weekend here. And then I think when we'll talk to Kevin about it, the expectation, I guess, is Monday, Yankee Stadium, the return of Jackson Merrill after missing the last 23 games.
That's what Kevin wrote today, is like, as expected, Brandon Lockridge back today.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully then it's as expected, Jackson Merrill back Monday.
Right.
Get through this series with the Pirates. You can take 2 or 3 from the Pirates. Hell, you can sweep the Pirates with what you got right now.
Good, yeah.
Absolutely could. And you got Cease today. Who's tomorrow? Pivetta?
I don't know if it's Pivetta.
No,
Did
Vasquez.
He just pitch? Yeah.
So you got Vasquez tomorrow, and then you got Pivetta on Sunday, I believe, right?
I think that's right. And then King on Monday, and then they need a fifth starter.
Yep. And then Tuesday is that fifth starter day. King in New York. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, good point, against the Yankees. Yeah, good point. That'll be good. I'm looking forward to the trip in general, but certainly that Yankee series, and certainly the return as well of Jackson Merrill. Like, that's the true gauge of this team. Their true ceiling is going to be with Merrill in the lineup, right? We've seen them with Luis Arraez now. They've been awesome. They're 18-6 when Luis Arraez plays for this team. Jackson Merrill, they were unbelievable the first 10 games of the year. 8-2. He had 10 RBIs, hit 3 home runs. He just makes them more compelling, more interesting, more entertaining. Like, when they didn't have Merrill or Arraez, there was a week in there. It was kind of blah, because Machado wasn't performing and Bogaerts wasn't performing and Tatis hasn't been homering. So it just looks better. You put the pieces in place, it's going to look a lot better, hopefully.
Jackson Merrill to me is like a must-watch player. Like, stop what you're doing and watch him play baseball. Watch his at-bats.
Exactly.
That's how he's kind of morphed for me, is he is a must-watch player. Him, Tatis, those are the 2 guys on the team that I have to like almost stop what I'm doing to watch their at-bats, because at any moment they could do something very special. And it's just going to be so fun to see him back in this lineup, and it will make the lineup look and feel so much deeper, so much better, just with Jackson in the lineup. A 22-year-old kid is, I'm not going to say he's being heavily relied on, but he kind of is being heavily relied on with this team. We've been talking about this, and they've been talking about this, and everybody for the last 3-4 weeks. Like, oh man, can't wait till Jackson Merrill gets back. Like, need Jackson Merrill back. Kid's 22 years old. That's the importance of Jackson Merrill already in his career, is that Padres fans and we can't live without him in this lineup for more than a week. We're just like constantly saying, when's Jackson coming back? When's Jackson coming back? When's Jackson coming back?
I mean, I don't think it's an exaggeration that he's a big piece when they signed this player to a 9-year deal. I think they understood the importance of this player. It's not the Tatis deal. It's not the Machado deal. But 9 years, $135 million means you're counting on this player from day one, especially based on what he did a year ago when he started in the major leagues and was an all-star and arguably was the rookie of the year. That's like, it's not really a storyline here, but you're not going to see Paul Skeens. You're not going to see Jackson Merrill, but remember, it was Skeens that won the Rookie of the Year last year for this bad Pirates team. It wasn't Jackson Merrill who was on that 93-win Padre team.
Yeah, the wrong guy won.
According to a lot of people, especially a lot of people in San Diego. All right, we're getting you ready. Kevin Acey will join us coming up at 2:30. John Nolan on Leo DeVries' spectacular start to the year in Fort Wayne. He's the voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Capsule. Join us at 3 p.m. We have Adrian Garcia Marquez, voice of SDFC, joining us at 5:30. We are just underway. It is John and Jim.
San Diego Sports.
Third half.
Number 5 collision at Loma Santa Fe Drive in the fast lane. You're slow from Del Mar Heights. Another accident ahead north 5 at Oceanside Boulevard. You backed up from Palomar Airport Road. South 5 slowing before Las Pulgas to the 78. I'm Mark Zegan, San Diego traffic.
At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters' expertise and award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Visit goodfeet.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We got you covered at AutoZone. America.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acey from Pittsburgh in 10 minutes. Hopefully he brought an umbrella because it's going to rain this weekend in the Steel City. Now, he said it was among his favorite cities in baseball, if not his favorite city to visit throughout the course of the regular season. But it's going to be a rainy weekend in Pittsburgh for Kevin. How does that impact things for him?
I thought you were going to ask, how does that impact things for me, and how does that impact LeBron's legacy?
Yeah, it's a good question, dude. That's a really good question. I don't think it's going to impact LeBron.
Probably not.
Although this series against the T-Wolves might. That
What
was
series? It's
more impactful.
over.
It's the series he just lost against the T-Wolves is more impactful.
That is a ballpark that I do have on like the bucket list to go to. Is the one in Pittsburgh.
You should go.
Now,
I've been.
is it nice?
It's beautiful.
I know that if I go, I'd want to go like on a day that Paul Skeens is throwing, because the atmosphere would be better than if
You don't want to go in front of 4,400 people on a Tuesday night in April?
4,400 seems high.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the whatever that bridge is. You know what I'm talking about? That like yellow bridge over the center field wall.
Isn't it the Allegheny River Bridge? What is it? No.
The Allegheny River Bridge. I don't know what it's called. Clemente? Is it Clemente Bridge?
Oh, yeah, the Clemente Bridge. Yeah.
So the Clemente Bridge, and then they've got the skyline. Honestly, it has similarities to Petco Park. My top three, and I've been to probably 20 of them, would be in no particular order necessarily: Petco, PNC, Oracle. So San Diego, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, to me, Baltimore would be in there as well. But I think top three. I think Pittsburgh's in the top three.
I haven't been to a ton of stadiums.
Have you been to Petco?
I've been to Petco.
Okay.
I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've been to, let's see here. I've been to every stadium in the NL West.
Other than Coors Field and Dodger Stadium and Chase Field.
No. For me, it's easily Petco, Wrigley, and then Oracle.
Okay.
Not
That's
in
your
any
top
order.
three?
That's my top three.
Okay.
So,
But how many have you been to? Two? Like, here's my top three.
yeah, I've been to two. So here's my top three.
Here's my top
No,
three.
like I said, I've been to every stadium in the National League West.
You've been to Coors?
Yeah.
For what?
It's
Just a weekend?
yeah, I was there this
That
weekend.
must be nice. Thanks for the invite.
I've been to Wrigley. I've been to where else have I been to?
That'll do it.
Oh, Angel Stadium.
Yep. Yeah.
I went to the Coliseum a bunch, but that doesn't exist anymore, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So
Did you say Coliseum? Oh, I thought you were talking about the LA Coliseum.
not like the Roman Coliseum.
You know, I thought you meant the LA Coliseum. Like, how does that apply?
No.
You mean the Oakland Coliseum.
Oakland Coliseum.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, PNC, if any of our listeners have been there, the one in Pittsburgh is a great ballpark. Now, the thing is, I was just thinking about this the other day. That ballpark's been open maybe 25 or 30 years, something like that. Have they had a playoff game?
Yes, they have.
Wild card?
Yes. Wild
So
card.
in the history of PNC Park, there's been a wild card game?
There's been a wild card game,
That's crazy.
and they lost it like 9-0 to the Giants.
So in the history of the ballpark, they've had a wild card game, and it's been open since 2001.
Oh my god!
And they've had a wild card game. Now, it's not like Petco has had dozens of playoff games.
yeah.
In fact, the first series win was during COVID in the history of the ballpark.
Yep.
Actually, the first win, because weren't they swept by St. Louis a pair of times? They'd never had a playoff win until 2020 at Petco Park. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I want to say that's right.
I think that's right. So neither of these ballparks have seen a ton of postseason baseball. Now, I would say this, that for Padres fans that want to see this franchise take the next step and get to a World Series and win a World Series, like everyone that's listening to us that roots for the Padres, you could be a Pirates fan because there are similarities in terms of cities between San Diego and Pittsburgh. It's not like Pittsburgh's this tiny city. Woe is me. They can't win in any sport. I mean, look at the history of the Steelers and the Penguins. They've had tons of success in those sports. Look at the Pirates in the 1970s, 3 World Series championships, I think, in the 1970s. You talk about an organization that is among the worst in professional sports over the last 25 years. Pittsburgh's up there, the Pirates. Maybe not the worst. You got the Browns and whatever, but they're top 5 worst organization in the last 25 years.
100%.
Right?
They're awful.
It's been embarrassing, man.
It's a joke that you have owners that can spend money, and have money, but they're just not spending money on this franchise.
Got this ballpark.
The
On the
beautiful,
water.
beautiful ballpark that everybody says that says, yeah, this is a great ballpark.
Yep.
And you finally get a generational talent in Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of going out and building around him while you have him, because he will not re-sign with you because you're too cheap to go and give him a contract extension, you're just going to waste this time with Paul Skeens. Like the Pirates are going to lose close to 100 games this year.
Good. Yep.
And that is 2 straight seasons of wasting Paul Skeens. If I was in Pittsburgh and if we were doing the John and Jim show in Pittsburgh, now thankfully,
would that be popular if we just talk Padres every day?
Thankfully, they have the Steelers and they have the NFL and they have hockey with the Penguins.
Yeah, I think the Steelers get a little more coverage than the Pirates.
Just a little more.
Yeah.
But if it were the same scenario where the Pirates were the only professional sports team in town, every day it just would. What is this stupid team doing? Every
single day, man. I mean, their last postseason berth, other than they went to the wild card 2013, 2014, 2015. They lost all 3 of those. That's the way I remember it. They lost 3 straight wild card games, 2013, 2014, 2015. You'd have to go back to 1992, the last time they were in a postseason series that wasn't a 1-game series, like the wild card game in 2013, 2014, 2015. So it has been a while for the Pirates. We'll catch up with Kevin Acee. He's in Pittsburgh. We'll get a weather update, a health update, a series preview, a road trip preview with Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining us next.
All right, so today's brought to you by Dairy Queen. Padres and Pirates are scheduled to start today at 3:10. Here's the thing, though. Sorry, 3:40. Here's the thing. It might rain, so we'll keep you updated on that. NBA playoff action tonight, Game 6 in the Bay Area. Warriors and Rockets. Rockets are looking to force a Game 7. Warriors are looking to end the series and move on to the second round where they would face the T-Wolves. And tomorrow night, SDFC takes on FC Dallas. 5:45 pregame with kickoff at 6:15. Listen right here on San Diego Sports 760. Get big summer flavor in every bite with the new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu featuring new mixing bowl mashups, fan-voted s'mores, and more for a limited time right now at DQ. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. That's the Single A affiliate of the Padres. He'll join us coming up at 3 p.m. Leo DeVries down there in Single A has torn the cover off the baseball. Not literally, I don't think, but he's hit for a cycle so
pretty
far
close.
this year.
Pretty close.
Imagine if he did. It's like baseball is just a rubber ball inside. Anyway, John Nolan, friend of the show, will join us at 3. We'll connect with Kevin Acee hopefully shortly. He's in Pittsburgh, maybe buying an umbrella at this hour. There are severe thunderstorms in Western Pennsylvania. We'll see if that impacts
knowing Kevin's phone, it might
time.
impact his phone ability
It's a good point.
Receive calls.
Hopefully not.
I hope not.
I don't want to jinx it because I was about to say something.
Yeah.
But I won't say it.
Okay.
I'll say it, actually. Can I say it?
No, don't say it.
Okay. I agree. We'll also have Adrian Garcia Marquez on the show coming up at 5:30. Text Kevin. Do you have his number? You want me to text him?
You text him. You want to go back there and call?
Well, I don't think it's a product of, yeah, I don't know. Are you getting his voicemail? Not getting his voicemail. It's ringing. Okay. Jim, go back there.
Okay. You want me to do it?
He says yes. Let me just tell him the number. Hold on. He'll call us. Can you call us? Jim, talk or something real quick.
Just give him the number. 877-767-4760. There you go, Kevin. Call us up.
Oh, you got him.
You got him. Okay.
Never a dull moment. All right, Kevin. Now, do we have the open for Kevin Acee?
That would probably be
a no. All right. Well, Kevin is with us here, brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino and Resort, the Players Place. All right, Kevin is with us live right now from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and PNC Park. Kevin, first of all, thanks for hopping on. Secondly, what's the weather looking like? We pull up the weather map, or we just pull up like the 10-day forecast. It looks like there's some rain in the area. Are they expecting to play this game on time or not?
Yeah, but there's supposed to be weather around 8. I have not. That's what the Padres are saying, but I have not heard, is that the kind of thing that they would, not start for? I doubt it. That's an hour. If it really is going to be 8, then that's an hour and a half in, and so I don't see that. But this is one of the places here in Cincinnati. I come and I go, well, probably going to get at least one rain delay.
Yeah. The rain looks like will be happening all weekend there. So, Kevin, when you look at this road trip coming off of the really good end to the homestand after the bad 11-game stretch here, do the Padres, do they feel like they have, regained their footing here with their last 2 wins over the Giants to start this road trip off?
I think that's fair without overstating it, right? To me, it was like this confirmation that they did what they said they were going to do, what they thought they were. They got these 2 guys back and, especially Arise and Hayward, and they got back to being that team. I just think there was a confidence difference. There obviously was a guy batting second. That was a big difference. I think they scored 2 innings with the 8 of a home run. They scored 5 innings by manufacturing, and he was involved in 3 of them. He batted in 4 of them. Luis Arise is a big thing. But yes, look, I think it was a big end of April series.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider, joining us right now from Pittsburgh, where the Padres and Pirates are scheduled to get underway in about an hour. So the move today, as you had alluded to or written about, is Brandon Lockridge has been activated. Tirso Ornelas back down to AAA. What's the timeline here on Merrill? We're still thinking Monday, and what could the corresponding move be when they have to activate Jackson Merrill?
Well, I would think Oscar Gonzalez. Brandon Lockridge is up, and Tyler Wade has earned his way on this team. He was down at the first because, that was just the way it had to be. And Brandon Lockridge had earned his way, and the way that the roster was situated and the platoon and left and all that, it didn't make sense for him to be here really. But he's a valued part of this team, and he has a .413 on base percentage. He's done everything he could have asked of him. So you bring back Merrill, you got Lockridge, you got Hayward. I just see it to be Oscar Gonzalez. Now the question is, and I haven't even gotten there honestly, I just thought of it myself, is they're expecting for Jake Cronenworth to come back on Friday, and who it is then. Then there's a question for you.
Yeah, well, those will come up here in the next week. Kevin, you wrote a really good piece yesterday on Xander Bogaerts and what he is going through, not only right now, but going back to last season before his injury. What I took away from it is this guy, and you even wrote it, he not only does he tinker, he tinkers a lot and he thinks a lot. Do you feel like after talking to him about the struggles that he's had, that it's just a matter of, the mental side of the game at times is really affecting him?
Yes, I think other people have talked about that more than Xander. But then when I put that together with the things that Xander was willing to say, yeah, I do think that's a big part of it. And look, he's a prideful man, as most of these guys that get to this level are, and a confident guy. And when the confidence gets shaken, and he's a big field guy at the plate, and things are off, and they have been. And so he's a big, big tinker. It's one of the first things I learned about him in 2023. And so those kind of guys, too, you can get out of sorts. And, So I do think a big part of it is mental.
Kevin Acey's our Padres insider. It's funny, until you put it down on paper like you wrote yesterday, I didn't really realize that he has had those extended stretches where he hasn't just been good, he's been very good. The 64 games late last year, I forget what the numbers are now, but where he hit around 300, 299, and then the 70-something games to finish 2023. I guess it's just at this point about doing it for the entirety of a season. Now he's kind of lost 1 month, but there's still 5 months ahead of us. But I think that sometimes gets lost in the equation. A lot of Padres fans say, well, he hasn't done it for an entire year, but he's had some prolonged stretches. So we've seen it before. Hopefully we'll see it moving forward again.
I guess if you're looking for encouragement, absolutely. And I'm really glad you brought it up. I bring it up. But the fact is, right, then after we get past that and we are fair to Xander and we try to tell the whole story, we look at the end of the season numbers, and they have not been what a $25 million guy is. And I always hate to do that, but when a guy makes $25 million, then that's how he gets judged.
Yeah, it's just we have the saying here, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And when you are getting paid like that and you are in the middle of this lineup, it's unfair at times, but at other times it's kind of fair because that's what he's making, and he's paid the big bucks to produce. Absolutely. A final one for me, Kevin. We got the fifth starter coming up, and we talked about it the other day. Is there any more information on when we can see who would be the fifth starter coming up here in New York? Probably after the weekend?
Sunday here. Pavetta back to Monday. Pavetta, King, Cease in New York, and they're going to call someone up. I'm working on it. I might have it, but I took your call. I need to go to continue to work on that. I think I have it nailed down, but got to find out who's going to be on Sunday here.
All right. Well, okay. We'll find that out. My final question has to do with just Dylan Cease. 6 starts into his year. He has the 5.79 ERA. I know it's elevated from the one Sacramento start. So I think he's been overall better than the 5.79, but would you consider this to be an important start, taking on a Pittsburgh team that has really struggled on offense to get right?
Yeah. Man, John, you're really in a fair mood today. Pointing that out with Xander and Dylan. Yeah, I love it, man. Just given the context. But yeah, look, there's a guy who they decided to keep, right? They're paying the $14 million. He's in a contract year. You're expecting big things from him. You need big things from him if you're going to go to the postseason, and more than that, advance through the postseason. So, I think Dylan's confidence might be shaken a little bit. I don't think I'm speaking out of school there. Now, I'm not trying to make that a big deal. I'm just saying, he expects better of himself, and they're working on stuff, diligently working on stuff.
Kevin, enjoy Pittsburgh. Stay dry, and we'll catch you up from New York City next week.
Right on. See ya.
All right, great stuff. Kevin Ace here, Padres Insider, brought to you by the all-new Humul Casino and Resort, the Players' Place. That's the all-new Humul Casino and Resort, the Players' Place.
It is a big start for Dylan Cease tonight. Like, as you mentioned, he's been good, but we know he can be better. His numbers don't really show what I just said there, but still, getting him right, making sure that the top three in your rotation. I mean, if those three guys are clicking all at once, I mean, this team could really go on a roll here.
Yeah, I didn't realize Pivetta had been pushed back to Monday because now you look at that Yankee series and it's Pivetta, King, Cease. You talk about the big three, and you're putting yourself in a position to hopefully play well that series by pitching Nick Pivetta and Michael King and Dylan Cease all in one series. It will be interesting to see what they do Sunday. What are the options? I mean, Stephen Kolek presumably would be a good option for them ever since the option of Kyle Hart. I don't even know if Hart's eligible to come back since he was optioned down.
I don't think he is. There has to be a certain amount of time before he can
and it
come
hasn't
back.
been enough time as of yet, unless I think there's an injury. So maybe it will be Stephen Kolek potentially on Sunday, but it will be Nick Pivetta Monday at Yankee Stadium. I hadn't realized that.
I hadn't realized that either, but that's why we have Kevin.
But I do like when you have opponents like the Giants this past week, and you could pitch King and would they pitch Pivetta and King, or you have an opponent like the Dodgers and you can pitch Pivetta, King, Cease, or the Yankees. Like, you want to put your best foot forward. You'd like to think against a team like Pittsburgh, you can navigate your way to 2 wins.
Yeah,
it's harder to navigate your way to 2 wins against a team like the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. So they'll pitch their 3 aces, so to speak, next week in New York.
I love that from the stamp. The reasoning as you just said there, because you want your best to go up against their best. Yankee Stadium's not an easy easy place to pitch. And then you got the Colorado series that weekend. So you're having your 3 best guys go up against the Yankees, and then obviously Dylan Cease tonight, and then the rest, see what happens.
All right, more reaction to our conversation with Kevin Acee on the other side. John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, on the terrific start this year for Padres prospect Leo DeVries. He will join us coming up at 3 p.m. Adrian Garcia Marquez is on the show at 5:30, the voice of SDFC. This is John and Jim. John Nolan, voice of the Tin Caps, Padres single A affiliate, will join us at 3 p.m. We'll talk more about Leo DeVries' incredible start to this 2025 season. You know that segment with Colin Cowherd where Colin was right and where Colin was wrong?
Yeah.
We need that for Kevin, because we just had Kevin Ace here, Padres Insider, on the show 10 minutes ago. We're like, hey, it's raining, right? Severe thunderstorms. Like, nah, they're not expecting rain until 8 Eastern, which would be 5 Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he just tweeted, which is 5 minutes after our conversation, the rain has begun. Looks like Padres and Pirates will start in a delay based on weather projections, maybe a 4:30 Pacific start.
Kevin.
We just said that, Kevin. We were looking at the radar.
We just had you on.
Right. Well, the good news is more time to listen
Kev.
to John and Jim. And it sounds like, according to Kevin, who's inside PNC Park, that it'll be 4:30 at the earliest to start this series. But you really don't know when you get into thunderstorms. You just don't know. But yeah, he thought that they weren't expecting rain until 5 o'clock Pacific, which is still 2 hours away. And now it's raining. The thing is, you can't predict weather.
I know. That's
and
why
when you're a beat writer in Southern California,
and you know
doesn't
what,
rain.
And you know what probably happened is the second that he got off with us, they announced over the PA, like, this is now in a rain delay. So he was just guessing based on what he maybe heard.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if it's in a
what he
delay.
heard was wrong.
I think the way he was able to figure it out is probably maybe the tarp is on the field. I would guess the tarp is on the field.
Or like look outside from the press box.
Look, it's raining outside.
Oh, there's rain. Huh.
Yeah. All right. So this series might start in a delay, and it is supposed to rain throughout the course of the weekend. We'll be here for you, getting you ready whenever this game starts. You can hang out with us whenever it is, 4:35, whenever this game starts tonight.
So I heard this rumor. Did you used to work in minor league baseball?
Yeah.
Okay. How long?
15 years.
Wow.
You know how many times I personally pulled the tarp?
You?
Yeah.
Like you, John Schaefer.
Oh yeah, when you work in A-ball
alone.
we can talk to John. No, alone. You know who can't? A gorilla can't do that, man.
A gorilla maybe.
A gorilla maybe, but like that thing is heavy.
So you helped?
You need 10 basically at a minimum.
How many people work in A-ball?
10.
10.
I mean, I would get knocks on like my door at like 4 a.m. Like it just started pouring. Get to the ballpark. I'm like, what?
Takes
when
me
I was like 23.
Roll the tarp out.
Dude, you could lose a game. In the minor leagues, you'd lose games because if the tarp wasn't on the field and it just poured all night long, you couldn't get the field ready.
I was about to ask you, how many rain delays have you experienced and how, I guess,
1,000.
Not awful they are, but just.
They're the worst.
Okay, they're the worst.
They're absolutely the worst. When I worked in minor league baseball, we would, quote unquote, keep it, which means I would keep the broadcast going. I could have like a 3-hour delay. And I would just be like, oh, it's an update. It's raining. And we would play interviews and like talk and just buy time.
Buying time
I saw everything. I saw a game, and I think it was an A-ball, where the tarp got halfway on the field. But when it rained so much, like imagine this. This doesn't happen in the big leagues by and large because they're going to get the tarp on before it's absolutely pouring.
Puddles on the field.
Because they got the advanced radar and the umpires are going to like be on it. I saw a game, and it might have been July 4th when you have like a packed stadium, where they start rolling the tarp on the field, and I was on the air, and they couldn't get the tarp entirely on the field because as you roll it out,
it just like stops.
It gets stopped because the rain is so heavy, you literally can't move the tarp. It is.
Oh my god!
And if you try to yank on the tarp, you'll rip the handles off the tarp.
That's what happened earlier this year in Chicago for the White Sox. Did you remember that?
Did they not get the tarp fully on the field?
No, it was halfway on the field.
Did they lose a game as a result of it? As in, like,
no,
was the game postponed?
Not that I remember. I don't.
Okay.
It was I think either postponed or delayed, and I don't even think it was raining that hard. The tarp wasn't big enough
to fit on the
like
field.
It didn't fit. I'll have to look it up during. I just remember earlier this year in Chicago, and everyone was making fun of them because their tarp was halfway on the field.
The whole thing with tarp, man, like it's 2025. You think there'd be a better way to do it? You're just like, hey guys, there's like thunder and lightning. Go roll this thing on the field. It's amazing nobody ever gets like struck by lightning. Let me see this. No, that's a perfect example of what I was referring to, because what happened here, what you're showing me is a tarp that was fully laid out, but they couldn't drag it over the infield because the rain got so heavy on it that it's almost like concrete.
And then they had to use
other things on the dirt to cover it up.
So like, other I guess,
like
what they
base
use,
coverings.
and like mound coverings.
Dude, the advantages of being in San Diego.
I have only experienced when I was working on the Padres radio broadcast. We did experience not only a rain delay, but the game was called. That rarely happens in San Diego where the game's called.
I just Googled it. It says there have been 4 in the history of Petco Park.
Right.
And there have been 19 in San Diego baseball history.
Now, the last one I believe was either in 2017 or 2018.
There was one in 2017. Yeah, I remember there was one as recently as 7 or 8 years ago because I remember it.
It was a day game. And I remember going to the ballpark, knowing that it was going to rain that day, but not knowing what the final outcome was going to be, if they were just going to wait this thing out. Because I think it was like the scheduling, and it was weird scheduling. So it was a tricky situation, and it got called, and it was such a weird feeling because everybody was so happy.
We do. Oh yeah, I know that feeling, dude.
Because you don't have to wait around. It's called, you move on, you reschedule, and everyone gets a free day. And you're like,
it's the best feeling in baseball, man.
This is the best.
By the way, that day was a Sunday day game against the Dodgers, May 7th, 2017.
Yep, I was there.
Yeah. So anyway, we don't get as much here. They're going to get a little bit here in Pittsburgh this weekend. We'll see if the Padres can overcome all of that. And again, first pitch was supposed to be 3:40, and right now the tarp is on the field at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Such is life. All right, Adrian Garcia Marquez is the voice of SDFC. SDFC hopefully doesn't experience any weather this weekend. They're at Snapdragon.
Well, if they were in Pittsburgh, John, that might be a problem.
They'll be at Snapdragon tomorrow against FC Dallas. What's the weather in San Diego this weekend?
Well, John, glad you asked, because tomorrow it's 67 and sunny. A little bit of clouds.
Perfect. All right, so he'll join us at 5:30.
Like the weather here in San Diego is ridiculous.
It's the best.
It's like 67, 61, 66, 70, 74, 78, 78, 79, 78. Oh, must be nice.
It's the best. So Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us coming up at 5:30. He'll preview tomorrow's match. You can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760. Interesting start time, 6:15 is the start time tomorrow. And John Nolan is going to join us on the other side of a break. Leo DeVries, right, down in single A, this promising prospect for the Padres. He's gotten off to this incredible start. He has an over 1,000 OPS. He's hit 311, Jim, on the year. A 311 start for this 18-year-old in 20 games.
Is that good?
19 RBIs in 20 games. Listen to this. 5 doubles, 3 triples, 4 home runs for Leo DeVries. So he's been good.
That's good.
When's he going to get the call up to Double-A? We'll talk to John Nolan, the voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, who, by the way, is actually going to take a job at the Indiana Fever, WNBA team with Caitlin Clark.
We'll talk to him about that.
Yes. In fact, that was announced today, but he's still with the Tin Caps. So, again, he'll join us on the other side. We're getting ready for Padres baseball. Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us later in the show. But John Nolan, voice of the Tin Caps on Leo DeVries, he will join us next to kick off hour 2 of John and Jim. That comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Superstar Car Wash. We'll start with the Padres. Their game in Pittsburgh has been delayed. Right now, it is raining in Pittsburgh, and as Kevin Acee just reported moments ago, the projected start time is maybe 4:30 p.m. So we'll see and keep you updated on that. NBA playoff action tonight. Just one game. Rockets and Warriors, game 6 in the Bay Area. Rockets looking to force a game 7. Warriors looking to close out the Rockets and move on to the second round to face the T-Wolves. And tomorrow night, SDFC takes on FC Dallas. 5:45 is when our pregame coverage starts. 6:15 is when kickoff happens. Of course, you can listen to that match right here on San Diego Sports 760. If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, they're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text Super CA to 27800 to get 50% off their best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
The weekend is here.
Go out, have fun.
SDFC hosts Dallas FC at Snapdragon Stadium. Let's get some love for our home team. It's game 1 between the Padres and Pirates in the Berg. We'll talk about the series and keep you updated after it starts. Now, it's time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, will join us shortly as Leo DeVries has gotten off to this incredible start in the minor leagues a month into his season, the top prospect in the Padres organization. Adrian Garcia Marquez, voice of SDFC at 5:30. Now, Jim was just telling me, because we had that national update, that the team that SDFC is playing, FC Dallas, has been terrific on the road. Something has to give then, Jim, because SDFC has been good at home, really good. They just suffered their first loss, but FC Dallas has been good on the road, and you can hear that match right here on San Diego Sports 760 tomorrow night.
John, not only have they been really good on the road, they're undefeated on the road this year.
Now, undefeated like no ties?
No, they had 3 draws, 3 wins. So
okay, it's still pretty good.
They've gained at least a point on the road in every single road match this year for them.
Do I look scared? I'm not very scared. I think, but it is. I will say this for SDFC, as John Nolan's about to join us, is they could use a point at least because they're coming off a home loss.
Yep,
and they've struggled here recently. They've lost 3 straight. All right, we have John Nolan with us right now, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. Although congratulations is in order, as John made me aware earlier today, and then I saw the news on social media that he is becoming the new radio voice of the Indiana Fever of the WNBA, the team that Caitlin Clark is on. So, John, first of all, man, congratulations. That's awesome news.
Yeah, no, first of all, John, Jim, thanks for having me as always. And yes, this is a bittersweet thing for me because very excited to have the chance to call up to the WNBA with the Indiana Fever. And perhaps down the road, you'll want to have me on to talk Caitlin Clark and whatnot. But I will, in the coming weeks, be moving away from the Tin Caps, the Padres High A affiliate, where I've been since 2013, originally starting as an intern and kind of working my way up. So it is a mixed feelings here. And now the only question is, who's leaving Fort Wayne first, me or Leo DeVries? The race is on.
Right. Okay, so let's get into that.
Leo.
Yeah, Leo's got a couple of weeks. By the way, if you can get us Caitlin for 4 p.m., that'd be helpful. Maybe 60 minutes from now.
And if you can't do 4 p.m., 4:30 is good.
Yeah, I've been sharing with people that I'm leaving, I've also just added in a pre-apology for not being able to help anyone out with tickets.
True.
Or I'll add in media requests too.
All right, tell us about Leo DeVries, because the numbers are jumping off the page. Everyone saw highlights from that cycle game, but it's been more than that, obviously. I see the doubles and the triples and the homers and the OPS. What's been most enjoyable, or what's impressed you most about this month?
Yeah, and just to reset again for anyone who maybe isn't fully aware. So Leo is still 18. He will not turn 19 until October. So this entire minor league baseball season, he's 18. He's the youngest player at the high A level. You know, for that matter, if he was at the low A or single A level, he would be close to the youngest there. And so you think back in 2017, Tatis was at the lower, sometimes they call it single A level in Fort Wayne. And Jackson Merrill, he was 19 turning 20 when he was with Fort Wayne. So just the context there of how young Leo is here at the high A level. And he is doing things that we have not seen anyone do, let alone the youngest player in the league. So right now, leading the Midwest League in OPS and slugging percentage, is basically top 10 in every offensive category. You mentioned he hit for the cycle a week and a half ago in Fort Wayne's 30-plus year hit franchise history. He was only the third player to ever hit for the cycle. In that game in which he hit for the cycle, he hit 2 home runs. So you look at the all-time Major League Baseball record books, they don't have this readily available in the minors, but there have only been like 7 guys in the last 110 years who've ever hit for the cycle in a big league game with 2 home runs as part of that cycle. And 5 of them are Hall of Famers like Joe DiMaggio or Lou Gehrig. It's just crazy stuff. And then in case people didn't see this, shared by MLB's social media account. So not saying the TinCap social media account, not even saying the Minor League Baseball social media account, saying the @MLB social media account. They've been posting Leo highlights, including a game-clinching catch that he made last night. So at shortstop, there was a ball sent out the shallow left center field. Tying runs are on base, so this is like a high-leverage situation. I thought off the bat that it was going to be the center fielder's ball. Center fielder wasn't getting to it. Somehow Leo did, diving away into the outfield. I am not one for hyperbole, but I cannot think of a better defensive play that ended a game that I have seen in minor league baseball. So this is just spectacular. And, you know, part of it too, that just wows you is that like Leo's not that impressed with himself doing this. Like he expects to dominate. Our manager, Lucas Ray, and Lucas is a pretty reasonable guy. So he's not someone who's trying to say stuff to, you know, get clicks or anything like that. But I mean, Lucas has said he's read a bunch of books about Michael Jordan, watched, The Last Dance and everything. And he feels like Leo has some like MJ mentality in him where if like you challenge him and you kind of question whether he's capable of something, he is going to set out to prove you wrong. And I'm not really sure anyone had any doubts about whether or not he could come in and thrive in Fort Wayne. Although like the one thing that some people maybe would is just that the weather here has been horrible. I talked to you guys about that back in mid-April. It hasn't really, it's warmed up a little bit, but it's still been wet. And so it still just hasn't really felt like a good baseball season. And yet now that is not stopping him from being the best player in this league so far. So again, you know, this is only a step on the journey to trying to impact things at Petco Park and to bring a World Series to San Diego. But right now, Leo is definitely ahead of the game, especially when you compare it to what guys like Tatis and Merrill just a couple of years ago were doing here.
Well, hopefully he's better than Michael Jordan at baseball.
Baseball, yeah. Yeah. And you know what, for fun, you know, one thing I need to try to discover here before Leo does get promoted to Double A San Antonio is that actually, you know, when you talk about the overall athleticism for him as a shortstop in the Dominican Republic growing up, he did play basketball. He was a point guard. I mean, I need to learn a little bit more about, you know, what level he was at basketball wise. I know that's actually, you know, the Dominican often qualifies for the Olympics in basketball. It's a respectable basketball culture there. So yes, you know, I think maybe things even out between MJ and Leo, between baseball and basketball.
Well, great. He's going to get drafted by the Lakers, and then the Lakers are going to win the title, and it's awesome. Everything's just great with Leo DeVries.
I was really, under how many years until First Take has a topic? You know, who's better, Leo or Bronny?
Right, exactly, yeah. Right. And how does this affect LeBron James' legacy? So that will all come up in the Talking Head shows. I don't know if you saw, but Kylie McDaniel, who is very dialed into prospect rankings and in the minors especially, he wrote the other day, and I don't have it in front of me, but we talked about it yesterday, that if Leo DeVries came out right now in the MLB draft, he would be the clear-cut number 1 pick in the draft. Did you happen to see that?
You know, I did not. I do follow Kylie. I missed that one, but I definitely would take his word for it. Yeah, he's one of the authorities. ESPN has him at the desk when they have coverage of the MLB draft. And I mean, that's no surprise. I know there's the latest holiday. Last time I looked is the projected top pick. I can't claim to be a Mel Kiper Jr. or Kylie McDaniel when it comes to draft coverage here. But I mean, can't imagine any high school kid is going to be better than Leo. Maybe, then if you were to compare him to a college player, it's different because a college player is going to have a few years on him, so they might be more polished. But when you think about the ultimate ceiling for Leo, it would seem to me, not to go low-hanging fruit reference here, but like slam dunk, that he would be the top pick. As I think about it, something that's really incredible with Leo is he can be behind in the count 0-2, and I still feel like he is actually controlling the plate appearance. It just doesn't really matter if he's behind 0-2 because he is unflappable in his approach, and so he's still not going to chase, and he's going to spoil some pitchers' pitches, and he just has this level of confidence to him that is definitely rare.
Tatis was with the Tin Caps previously, right?
Right, yeah. So he was the Tin Caps and the Lake Elsinore Storm kind of flip-flopped in terms of being low A, high A. So Tatis, ultimately, I was saying in the first month that Tatis was here, he really struggled. He was hitting like below 200 compared to Leo, better than 300. Ultimately, by the end of May, Memorial Day or so, it really clicked for Tatis, and he set the franchise record here for home runs in a season, and that was in less than a full season before he went up to Double-A San Antonio. So Tatis, for all my years here, over a decade, best talent I've ever seen. I feel like it would be too early to not the same kind of sample size to compare Leo and Tatis here, but Leo's like clearly put himself in the class of just players that are special. And I feel like, box office, basically, like when he's up, you want to make sure if you're a fan, online for beer or cotton candy or whatnot, you want to make sure you're turning around when he's up.
No doubt about it. John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. He's held that title for the last decade with us right now on John and Jim. So, what's typical here? I remember it when I was in the minors as well. Typically organizations want to see players at a level for maybe a half year, right, John? So, are we looking at the possibility of a call up at some point in May? Or are you thinking maybe more like the middle of the summer, somewhere in June or later?
So to be clear, I can't say I've talked about this with anyone from the Padres, so not trying to speak as a complete insider here. But you, John, you just said typically, right? Well, I don't think we usually use the word typically when we're dealing with AJ Preller, right?
Right.
He is not
True.
trying to be typical. So my hunch would be that Leo could be moving up to San Antonio sooner rather than later, in the month of May. I'm not really kidding when I say I know I'm leaving the team in 2 weeks, and I'm not sure who will be gone quicker between me and Leo, because as I think AJ says, the top talent rises quickly, and it just seems like Leo's rising, and they like to challenge these guys. So I don't know all the factors that go into it. I will say, he's not been as smooth, or I should say he's not been as consistent at shortstop as you would want to see. Then you can say, yeah, he's 18 years old and he's got to work on consistency and always being maybe fully engaged defensively every pitch. So he made the spectacular play last night, but you'd like to see him go a full week without bobbling a ball or having a poor throw to first. He's made more errors. If we're going to give him all this praise, then you got to critique him, to be fair too. And so he's not been good enough 100% at shortstop, but still what he's capable of when he is fully focused out there. Offensively though, he's kind of proven that he's probably too good for the high A level and could use the challenge of Double-A.
What I heard is greatest player ever.
Yeah, we heard he'll be in the big leagues tomorrow. Thank you, John, for breaking that news. No, we're kidding. John, congratulations, man, on the opportunity with the Indiana Fever. Congrats on leaving minor league baseball from someone that spent a decade also working in minor league baseball. So,
except you're going to a professional sports franchise, and John is still stuck with me.
I'm stuck in San Diego, man. It's tough. It's tough out here. It's like 70 outside.
I know.
John, appreciate you, man.
I do feel a sense of being released. I'm free. And last note, I'm very excited to work with Adam Helmer. He's he works for the Fever on their staff as the head video coordinator. He is an Aztec for life, graduated class of 2013. So he works with both, the old coaching staff and the current coaching staff. So Aztecs have a presence with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
All right, we'll get Adam on the show when we get Caitlin on the show. Thank you,
Yes.
John.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man.
About the Caitlin interview request, I don't know, but I'll give you Adam's number.
Yeah, that sounds good. Today or Monday works. Thanks, John.
Exactly.
Best
Fair.
of luck. We'll
Okay.
talk soon. All right, John Nolan, the voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. All right, updates from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. On the other side, Padres and Pirates expected to begin under a rain delay here tonight, that 3-game series. Adrian Garcia Marquez is the voice of SDFC. He will join us coming up at 5:30. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim. All right, San Diego FC back on the pitch tomorrow night, taking on FC Dallas, Snapdragon Stadium. You can hear the match live tomorrow night, 5:45 pre. Adrian Garcia Marquez in the call at 6:15 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Your home for SDFC. We'll have AGM, Adrian Garcia Marquez. You like that? AGM.
I like that. Maybe
Like
you should ask him if
assistant
he
GM.
Yeah. Hey, GM, what's up, bro?
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
He's like, huh?
Yeah, he's definitely heard it before.
Probably.
And he will join us coming up at 5:30. Now, there are so Kevin Acey was on with us 30 minutes ago.
Broke no news.
He's like, I got nothing for you guys. I think we're playing baseball. Padres are fun. Pirates are fun.
10 minutes later.
Then he's like, rain delay. He puts that on Twitter, okay?
Fifth
Even though
starter.
we asked about the rain delay. He's like, no, there's not a delay. 10 minutes later, rain delay. Then we're like, what about the fifth star? He's like, I have no idea. 10 minutes later, Stephen Kolek will start Sunday in Pittsburgh.
What the hell, man?
Not our Padres insider, our Padres guest who breaks news on his Twitter. Now, sometimes he breaks news here.
When?
He did with Hartman in 2021.
Steve was like, Kevin. Tell me the truth, Kevin.
That's a good Hartman, dude.
Yeah. You're welcome.
But you need, I need the loud Steve.
Kevin, who's starting on Sunday for the Padres?
When I think about Willie Stargell,
the third place, or the person that finished in third place in the Cy Young in 1987 was...
You have to remember about Roberto Clemente. He finished with exactly 3,000 hits.
Do you want to talk about my Heisman vote?
Anyway, Stephen Kolek will start Sunday per the Padres. We had speculated that Kyle Hart couldn't be starting.
Was it per the Padres or per Kevin?
No, the Padres. I think he's not breaking the story, is he?
I don't see it anywhere else.
No, but I'm saying he's not just making it up.
No, I know he's not making it up, but Kevin went and found out this information
from the Padres.
Correct.
Right?
He found out through sources.
Yeah, like Mike Schilt.
Did Mike Schilt say
it? Yeah.
Did Mike Schilt say?
I don't know, dude. We have been really intentional about the days off, said Mike Schilt. It's that balancing act of making sure we're competing, which we clearly are, and making sure we recognize it's a long year for all the guys. He just says Stephen Kolek will make his first major league start here Sunday, but he doesn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's coming directly from the organization, right? I think it's coming from, the Padres have not officially announced Kolek, but two sources said the 28-year-old right-hander is headed to Pittsburgh.
So there you go. Way to break news, Kevin, with us.
Well, he said when he joined
us,
if I wasn't with you, I'd find out who was starting on Sunday. I need to confirm that story.
Well, we should have said, text the guy while you're on the phone with us, and let's break the news right now, Kev.
Well, there's your news. That's the one story today. The other is Brandon Lockridge is up. Tirso Ornelas is down. What else? By the way, NL reliever of the month is Robert Suarez. Have you mentioned that in your update?
Not once.
NL reliever. Have you mentioned Miles Bird has gotten a combine invite?
Not once.
What's the purpose of your update? It's what's the purpose of Kevin if he's not going to share this?
You want to
news?
know the purpose of the update?
I know the purpose, so you can get these ad reads in.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, Robert Suarez was named reliever of the month. 12 for 12 in save opportunities, 1 run allowed in 14 innings.
Is that good?
And the Padres bullpen, by the way, still leads baseball in ERA. 1.77. Guess the opponent batting average against the Padres bullpen this year.
132.
Against the entire bullpen?
What is it?
183. I mean, 132 is unbelievable. I thought 183 was good. You went to the 132.
At least I was in the 100s.
Yeah, but isn't that against their entire bullpen for 30 games? Opponents have hit 183 off their bullpen.
I believe it.
That's amazing.
Watched every game.
I know. I do. I'm with you on that.
This bullpen has been nails.
I'm with you on that.
This bullpen has been fantastic.
That's what I kind of like about when you have at Yankee Stadium, for example, next week, Pivetta and King and Cease.
Yeah.
Even though it's the Yankees and even though it's that ballpark, you feel decent about a lead if they leave the game with a lead.
Yeah.
Because of how good this bullpen has been. That's been their formula, folks. I mean, their bullpen is the biggest reason why they're 19-11 is that their bullpen's elite. If they had an average bullpen, it might be an average team right now, truthfully, because they've won close games.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. The when they get the lead, they are more than likely going to win that game, like every single time almost.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, John?
Yeah.
Because the Padres will face the Yankees here coming up, starting on Monday. So we don't have a show to preview that.
Okay.
Well, we do kind of, but anyway.
Yeah.
Have you seen what Aaron Judge is doing?
Yeah, he's been red hot all year.
Do you know what he's like?
His OPS is like 1,200.
He's hitting 427 on the year.
That's good.
with 10 homers, 32 RBIs.
What's his OPS?
1282.
Yeah.
What?
That's good. That's a good year. How are you hitting 427?
The next best hitter as far as averages go is another Yankee, Paul Goldschmidt. And he's hitting 356. So there's a gap there of like 70 points almost on a batting average.
Do you know what Aaron Judge's on base percentage is?
Ooh. I don't know. I'll go with 590.
521.
Oh, I don't know what. Yeah.
But 521, he's hit 427. That's ridiculous. They might want to work around him.
Yeah,
They might
probably.
want to work a little. Is it the torpedo bats? He doesn't even use them, right?
No, he said he didn't. He's like, what's worked for me in the past, I'm going to keep doing that.
He's not kidding. He's like, I don't need them. He truly does not need them. That's a crazy, crazy year. That's 30 games, but that's absurd. A power hitter that can hit like that for average?
Is he the best player in baseball?
Right now, yes. Based on those numbers, I don't think it's probably arguable. He is. I mean, Ohtani was that hitter last year, arguably, or Judge.
Judge was better year.
Tatis has had a good year, but he hasn't had that year.
No, not even close.
Not even close to that year.
Tatis leads the National League in batting average, though.
At what?
345. Wow. Still has a 1,011 OPS, 8 homers, 18 RBI, 7 stolen bases on the season.
How many RBIs for Judge with those 10 home runs?
Glad you asked. 32.
Wow.
So he's on pace for like 162 RBIs.
Yeah, something like that. I'm excited for that series. I'm excited for this series. I mean, I just want to see the Padres again, who had the 4-game losing streak. They bounced back against the Giants. Just play well this weekend in Pittsburgh. You know, they don't have to sweep anyone. But winning 2 out of 3 on the road.
Sweep or the season's over.
True. If they lose tonight, the season is over.
Correct.
All right. Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us coming up at 5:30. More on this Padres Pirates game. We'll let you know when the game is expected to start. On the other side, plus Miles Bird gets the combine invite. What does that mean for San Diego State basketball? Plus Greg Popovich steps aside as the winningest coach in NBA history. We're here until 6, John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Padres, they're in a rain delay. They might get started at 4:30 Pacific time, but we will keep you updated on that in Pittsburgh. NBA action tonight. Game 6 in the Bay. Warriors looking to close out the Rockets and move on to the second round. Rockets looking to force a Game 7, 6 p.m. start time there. SDFC, they take on FC Dallas tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. Don't have to worry about rain there. 5:45 pregame, 6:15 kickoff. You can listen to the match right here on San Diego Sports 760. And awards for the first month of the year. Robert Suarez got the reliever of the month in the National League. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? How about fun Mother's Day gifts? All for under $15. Get low prices every day on unique finds before they're gone. In store only at Macy's Backstage today. Find a location near you at macy'sbackstage.com. On trend, off price, arriving daily.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll wait on that start time between the Padres and the Pirates. You mentioned Robert Suarez was named the NL reliever of the month. I don't know if we should lose sleep over this, but Pete Alonso was named the NL Player of the Month over Fernando Tatis Jr. But
fake outrage.
But here's the thing: when you look at the numbers, it's basically warranted. They had similar months. The Mets have been really good, so have the Padres. Alonso has been really good, so has Tatis. The numbers are comparable. If anything, Alonso probably gets a slight edge: RBIs, homers, OPS, for example. So I'm not gonna scream on the second day of May about Pete Alonso over Toddy for the NL Player of the Month, but maybe you will. Do you want to scream about that? We're going to open the phone lines.
Yeah, 877-767-4760. This is a travesty. I'm outraged. I'm very upset.
But not really.
Man, I really want to, but
I'd be upset. Like, if it was clear, like if Toddy had the better month and was on the better team and all the numbers indicated it, I'd be upset. But
because when I saw it, I go, wait, Pete Alonso over Toddy? Whoa.
Right.
Initially, without researching anything, of course, I was outraged.
Right. But then we looked at the numbers.
Then we like, oh, okay, we get it. Pete Alonso's had an amazing month. He's on the best team in the National League in the Mets right now. If you stack up all the numbers, Pete Alonso is only trailing in batting average this month by by 3 percentage points. Toddy's hitting 345. Pete Alonso's hitting 342. Yeah, I can't be mad at that.
No, I'm not going to be mad. And honestly, when you start talking about players of weeks and months, it's a nice honor and accomplishment. This isn't NL MVP.
No, but
this isn't Cy Young.
No, but like going into the second month of the season, Tatis, if he stays healthy, he's going to be an MVP candidate. Would you agree?
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, just hang in that conversation. It's not going to be. You're not winning the NL MVP based on this.
No, you're not. But it's nice to like put it on. It's like put it on your resume.
But it does give you front runners. I mean, clearly at this point, two of the front runners would be Alonso and Tatis
in the National League.
Yeah, in the National League. Obviously, Aaron Judge would run away with it.
Now you did
in the American League.
Now you haven't mentioned Shohei Ohtani, who still is the odds-on favorite to win the National League MVP award this year.
Tell me his
plus
numbers.
200.
Tell me his numbers.
Oh, you want his
Tell me
numbers?
his numbers.
You want his numbers?
Yes.
I'll give you his numbers. Stand by. Let me find it real quick.
Here's what you do. You type in Shohei Ohtani.
No, I'm making this way harder on myself than it needs to be.
Shohei Ohtani stats.
Here we go. All right, I got it. He's hitting 287, 7 homers, 10 RBIs.
10 RBIs? How?
9 stolen bases with a 950 OPS.
How do you have a 950 OPS and 10 RBIs? And you're going to tell me he's a leadoff hitter, but I'm going to tell you that's still low.
Well, because he's walked 20 times this year, John.
That's the answer.
With 2 intentional walks.
So people aren't really pitching to him.
And he has a 393 on base percentage, but he's slugging 557, not bad for his standards.
Right.
How
many steals does he have?
9 on the year.
All right. So off the 50-50 year, he's got 7 homers and 9 steals. He's about 30 games into his year. I mean, the thing is, I kind of get the plus 200 to your point because he stumbles into a hot 2-week stretch and gets that homer number up to 40. And gets that steal total up to 40. He's going to do that if he's got 9 steals. And then all of a sudden you look up, here's a guy with 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Like, he kind of falls out of bed at 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases at this point. So I get the plus 200. Where's Toddy on that list in terms of MVP? Do you have the list?
I do. Tatis is second at plus 400.
Okay.
Kyle Tucker also plus 400. And then you get to Corbin Carroll plus 500.
Where's Alonso?
And then Pete Alonso plus 650. Francisco Lindor right now plus 1,400. Obviously, it's only 1 month in. These things will obviously change throughout the course of the season.
If you were, though, a betting man, would you bet against Shohei Ohtani? Knowing he'll get the benefit of the doubt, knowing that, he threw 6 innings, he pitched.
I want to bet against him.
I know you do, but would you actually bet against him? As in, who do you think is going to win the NL MVP? If you had a crystal ball, would you give it to Pete Alonso off a good month or Fernando Tatis Jr. off a good month? Where I think if he stays healthy, he absolutely can stay in that conversation, even with a player like Ohtani. Or would you just say Ohtani's going to compile those numbers? How many MVPs does Ohtani have now? 2 or 3?
He would have.
Does he currently have 3?
I think 3. Didn't he get 2 in LA
with the Angels? You mean?
Yes.
He's got 3.
Yeah,
and 3 in the last 4 years.
Okay. Well, he's not pitching, so he's going to need to put up some big offensive numbers. And if he puts up, say he puts up 37 home runs and 92 RBIs and 42 stolen bases, and he hits 280 with a 950 OPS. That's definitely MVP worthy. But also, if you got guys like Pete Alonso who hit 50 home runs, or Tatis who hits 45 home runs and has a 315 batting average and a better OPS.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. As in, it doesn't appear as if a month into the season that Ohtani will decisively win it, right? Like a year ago, 50 something home runs.
Yeah.
50
decisively.
Well, obviously at that point you're going to win it.
Yeah.
And he may still be that player this year, but 7 home runs doesn't put him on that 50 something pace, and 9 steals doesn't put him maybe on that 50 something pace. But I just feel like he gets benefits of doubts over, I've said this before with Tatis. I just feel like that suspension, these are voters. Mm-hmm. This isn't a statistical compilation. These are 30 voters. Is he going to get the benefit over Shohei Ohtani's won 3 of the last 4 if the numbers are close?
Well, it is entirely too early to actually start thinking about all right, this guy's going to win the MVP or not.
I agree. It's too early. But, we're talking about the NL Player of the Month.
No, that's not too early because it just happened.
Right.
And that's just fake outrage if anybody's upset.
Yeah, it's really not a big deal. But again, I go back to Toddy's health is all that matters for him. There's just no world where he doesn't continue to produce, in my opinion. Now, maybe the power numbers come down at when's the last time he homered? It's been 7 8 9 days, right?
Last Sunday in Houston, right?
So last Sunday,
2 Sundays ago.
2 Sundays ago. So it's been 10 or 11 days for Tatis. It's going to happen over the course of a year.
Do you want to know what the odds for American League MVP are?
No, it's too early.
Well, you're just talking about National League.
I'm kidding. Yes. Judge minus 240.
Judge minus 700.
So he's already won it.
He's already won.
It's not too early for the American League.
It's already over. It's already over. The next closest is Bobby Witt Jr. at plus 800.
So at minus 700. So for our listeners, that means you have to bet $700 to win 100. You got to put down 700 to win 100 on Aaron Judge winning the MVP, and it's May 2nd.
And then it's got Bobby Witt Jr. plus 800.
Okay.
Then Gunnar Henderson plus 5,000.
Jeez.
Alex Bregman plus 5,000. Yordan Alvarez plus 6,600. And then Jose Ramirez plus 6,600. So it's pretty much over in the American League as far as MVP goes if Judge just stays healthy.
Dude, Judge basically can stop playing.
Yeah, I know.
He's pretty close to stop playing Hall of Famer. He's not yet there, but he's getting close to stop playing Hall of Famer. Multiple time MVP, crazy home run totals throughout his career, American League record for most home runs in a season. Mm-hmm. He's almost at that point.
Give me his accolades right now.
They're good. What do you want to know?
Scroll up. Give me no, not home runs. MVPs.
2 MVPs.
2 MVPs.
Rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year. How many All-Stars?
6.
6. All right. They'll be 7 after this year.
Yeah. Said 325 home runs.
Okay.
Now,
Silver Sluggers. How many he's got there? 4?
I don't know.
You got to scroll all the way up.
It doesn't have Silver Slugger up here.
Yes, it does. Scroll up. See the little.
Oh yeah, 4-time Silver Slugger. That doesn't matter, does it?
It's nice to put on a resume.
Rookie of the Year, Home Run Derby champ.
Oh, that's Hall of Famer. Sorry.
Right? Two-time MVP. How many two-time MVPs are not in the Hall of Fame? That's a good question. How many two-time MVPs are not in the Baseball Hall of Fame?
You know who would know that question? Steve Hartman.
Steve, can you call us?
Steve.
Roger Maris, a two-time MVP? He may be. You don't know how many. He's a two-time MVP. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So there's Roger Maris.
There you go. All right.
Okay. You like that?
Pete Rose?
Good point. But it's
different circumstances.
Exactly. Did you look this up, Marshall? You got a list of two-time MVPs not in the Baseball Hall of Fame? All right, let me hear it.
So we have Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Juan Gonzalez, Roger Maris, and Dale Murphy.
So three of them tied to steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Dale Murphy, who's not.
Right.
And then who was the other one that we said is not? Roger Maris.
Yeah.
That's the entire list. Point is Aaron Judge is going to the Hall of Fame.
How's Roger Maris not in the Hall of Fame?
He only hit 275 home runs. Yeah, if you look at his numbers, he had like 2 good years. It's so weird, dude. Wow. It's really, really weird if you look at his numbers.
Okay.
That amazing one, 61 and 61, but that's basically like half of the home runs he hit in his career. All right. Updates from Pittsburgh. When will this game start? On the other side, plus Miles Bird to the NBA Combine. What will that mean for the Aztecs? And Adrian Garcia Marquez is going to join us coming up at 5:30 this afternoon as SDFC gets ready for Dallas FC. That'll be tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim. San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway. That's every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword that entered at sportssd.com. Adrian Garcia Marquez, SDFC voice, will join us at 5:30. So Padres Pirates is officially Jim in a rain delay.
Where'd you see that?
Look at this.
Where'd you see that?
Search Pirates rain. So 55 minutes ago, like out east, you have to have descriptive words to describe rain. There is a hard rain coming down in Pittsburgh about 50 minutes ago, like sideways left to right rain was coming down, tarp on the field, dark gray skies overhead. Now, this was 50 minutes ago. Now, listen to this, though, Jim. Someone replied to the Pirates 4 minutes ago because the Pirates 5 minutes ago said this game will start in a delay. We'll share updates as they develop. Someone replied, rain should be done in 45 minutes. You do the math on that. That means you're nowhere near first pitch. If the rain stopped at 4:30 Pacific, you're at least 30 plus minutes away.
You got to get players to get a quick warm up.
Guys got to warm up in bullpens.
I know.
You need 20 plus minutes in a bullpen. So,
shucks.
So this game might not start until after 5 p.m. Pacific, which means we're here for you this afternoon.
We are
John
here
and Jim.
for you, everybody.
We wish it started at 2:01 like you all did.
Yes.
We wish these games were all 4 hours of John and Jim.
No, we don't.
But we're going to be here for you because this game isn't going to start for at least another hour plus tonight in Pittsburgh.
So we are going to be your option while the Padres are in a rain delay. You're welcome, everybody. We are here for you.
All right. So Pirates, Padres in a rain delay. It'll be Dylan Cease when they do get underway here tonight. If you recall last year, the Pirates were really good until they ran into the Padres. We were about midway through the season. Pirates were hanging around in the NL wildcard conversation, and it was the Padres that ended that. Padres played the Pirates well last year. We'll see if that continues this year. Pirates got off to a much better start last year. Like, again, Skeens was a little bit of like that, I don't know, like that's what got them going. He didn't go up until what, May? He wasn't called up until May last year?
Yeah, they called him up at the point where like it wouldn't cost them a year of
That's right.
But then he won Rookie of the Year, so
yeah, I forget
it
how
backfired.
But when they called him up, they got going and they were hanging around 500, even a couple of games over 500, and then the wheels fell off late. And I think a lot of that had to do with how they played against the Padres. That's how I remembered, at least.
Well, last year, that's what the Pirates always do.
Yeah,
they always at some point in their season just lose a lot of baseball games.
That has been, yes.
And
you're right.
And most of the time it's like for 5 months straight.
Yes.
But last year they didn't start losing a bunch of games till, you're right, about August or so.
I'm trying to find it.
July, I want to say.
Maybe. So they were over 500, dude. It was August. They were 55 and 53 going into August. They got to San Diego. I'm not sure if this is home or road, but they played the Padres on August 6th.
It was on the road because I was in Switzerland, I remember.
So that was in Pittsburgh, you're saying?
Yeah, and Jackson Merrill had that game-tying home run, and he went off on that road trip, and you were doing wrap-up shows. Like, Jim should just never come back because the Padres were winning. And not only were they winning, they were like having these amazing comeback victories.
Yes, so I'm looking 7, 8, 9. They started a 10-game losing streak the game before they met the Padres in August of 2024. They were 56 and 54. And then they had a 10-game losing streak, and that ended their chances a year ago.
The Pirates suck.
They just do. And
They're an awful franchise.
Somebody put on social media, like, how do you know that like Skeens wouldn't sign with them long term? Or how do you know that they offered? It doesn't even matter if he wants to be there or if they want to keep him. They don't have the money. He may want to be there. He may not want to be there. It's irrelevant. They're not giving him anywhere near what it's going to take to keep him.
They technically have the money. They're just not going to dish out the contract that Skeens is going to, demand, which is probably, with inflation and everything, around $250 million.
So when you say technically, like if they really wanted to, they could write the check.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Although I don't think they've ever signed a player to a $100 million deal in the history of the franchise.
Yeah, they are
cheap.
Very cheap. That's the word I'm looking for. They're cheap. They have the money, but they're cheap. And
I'm looking that up.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Biggest free agent signing in Pirates franchise history. Might be. Is this right? I mean, I think the biggest signing. Listen to this, dude.
Free agent signing?
Listen to this.
Free agent signing, right?
Yes. Biggest free agent signing. Now, they gave Brian Reynolds an extension for $106 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Their biggest free agent signing, correct? This could be wrong, but I think it's right. It's at MLB.com. Francisco Liriano, 3 years, $39 million.
Excuse me?
The richest free agent deal. Am I missing something? Hold on. Let me make sure.
What?
That can't be right? Or could it be? I think it's right. I'm not kidding. Because in this article, it has every team. It has Machado, like 11 years, 350 extension and 10 years, 300 free agent signing, technically. It has the richest deal in Pirates history for a free agent, 3 years, $39 million. So before I don't know if they have the $200 million due for Paul Skeens, if they've never signed a player to a $40 million contract. Now they did with Brian Reynolds, $100 million. Can you imagine, dude, being a Pirates fan? We are so fortunate to cover the Padres compared to the Pirates, Marlins, Rays, A's, right?
I wouldn't even cover the Pirates.
You wouldn't do a Pirates wrap-up show?
No.
Would you do a Steelers wrap-up show?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes. Now, Paul Skeens would give me an itch to do it.
True.
Just because he's really, really good. But I'd only do like a Paul Skeens show. I would never talk about this Pirates team other than when Paul Skeens pitched.
Olivia Dunn show?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, man, that like it could be like listen, we've had some complaints over the years here, right? Padres haven't always won at the highest clip. They haven't won this division. They lost the Dodgers 2 of the last 3 times in the postseason, right? It hasn't been perfect, but man, have they been relevant and have they tried? You can't fault them for spending. And that has continued now with John Seidler. Look at Merrill, another $135 million under John Seidler. I mean, look at the Nick Pivetta deal. Another, fairly large deal for a starting pitcher. I mean, there's some of these teams, Jim, they don't even try to do that. They're not touching a Nick Pivetta deal, a team like Pittsburgh.
Robert Nutting.
Yeah, Bob Nutting. It's Bob Nutting, their owner.
Is the Pirates owner. He's worth $1.1 billion.
So you're saying he could drop the 220 on Skeens if he wanted?
Probably.
Robert Nutting.
Bob Nutting.
Yeah. It could be a lot worse. And
man,
we should be thankful.
I feel like Bob Nutting is like a curse word in Pittsburgh. Like this guy is an awful owner.
Well, they're trying to force him, I think, to sell the team.
Good. That's what I would do.
At least they haven't moved to like Las Vegas.
True.
All right. So this game right now is in a rain delay. When it does get underway, Dylan Cease, Mitch Keller is the game 1 matchup from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. All right, here's what we're going to do. Again, Miles Byrd has gotten an invite to the NBA Combine, which is really cool. What is that going to mean for San Diego State? We'll discuss that in the 4:00 hour. Greg Popovich stepping away as head coach. He's going to remain on with the Spurs. What is his legacy among all coaches across professional sports over the last quarter century? We'll discuss that in the 4:00 hour as well. We'll get to the wrap as well coming up. We have Adrian Garcia Marquez. Now, are you going to be at this match tomorrow night?
It's TBD.
Aaron's away.
I know she is.
What do you got going on?
Well, here's the thing. So my weekend, Aaron's gone. She's in Palm Springs. And I got to figure out, do I want to see Thunderbolts tomorrow or Sunday? If I see it tomorrow, I'm not going to go to the SFC game because I don't want to leave my dog home, Bentley, for like all day by himself.
Bring Bentley
to the movies.
Can you?
No.
San Diego. It's a dog-friendly city.
Okay.
Well, Bentley's fine. You can do 1 2-hour movie and 1 2-hour soccer match. You can spend the other 20 hours at Bentley.
Make a good point.
Well, he's going to knock over a trash can. He's doing that regardless.
He'll tear the whole house up because he's like, this is not routine. My mom is gone.
Dude,
where's my dad?
If Aaron's not going to be there?
Yeah.
Is he okay with like dealing with you if Aaron doesn't come home, or is he kind of on edge that she's not in the home?
No, he'll be fine that I'm there, but if I was like, where's mommy? He would freak out. Like when he hears the word mommy.
Like, are you able to FaceTime with her or no? Because he hears her voice and then starts like jumping around like a maniac.
Where's mom? Where's mommy? Where's mom?
So do you do that or no?
Not really.
Okay.
But we've never like.
You've never FaceTimed?
No. I was going to say, me and Aaron are typically just together all the time. So
Yeah, but this weekend I'm saying she's in Palm Springs. So how will you communicate? Via text or FaceTime or what?
I was thinking letters. I was going to write I was going to write her a letter and see if it
How
gets
long
to
is she
Palm
gone?
Springs.
From today until Sunday?
She gets back Monday.
She's gone for 3 nights?
I know.
Oh, you are living like you're just bachelor pad, watching movies, Transformers or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, you're living a good life. All right, Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us coming up at 5:30. The wrap on the other side. Hour 3 of John and Jim comes your way next. All right, guys, it is John and Jim for the all-new Jamul Casino and Resort, the Players Place. You got to get out there this May. Right now, you can vote for Jamul for the annual San Diego's Best UT Readers Poll. They'd love your vote for Best Local Casino, Best Sports Bar over at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, Best Nightclub, and more. You can visit jamulcasino.com to vote right now.
And they have endless dining 5 nights a week. Their endless dining options just got a whole lot better at Tony Gwynn's. They're going over the top with crab, shrimp, dynamite salmon, and more. Plus, don't miss the carving station for those who like a little turf with their surf.
We've told you about Tony Gwynn Sports Pub a lot over the years. It's spectacular. Great spot for this weekend. It's the ultimate sports pub. Catch the Padres this weekend. NBA postseason going on this weekend as well. Plus savory food at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, where fandom meets fantastic. It's at the all-new Jamul Casino and Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell real estate team. Padres and Pirates are in a rain delay. The expected time is maybe 4:30 Pacific start, but who knows? It's raining in Pittsburgh. We'll keep you updated there. NBA playoff action happening tonight. Just one game, Game 6 in the Bay Area. Warriors and Rockets. Warriors looking to close out the Rockets and move on to the second round, where they would face the Timberwolves. And SDFC, they take on FC Dallas tomorrow night here at Snapdragon Stadium. 5:45 is when our pregame coverage starts. 6:15 start time. Of course, you can listen to the game right here on San Diego Sports 760. And Robert Suarez was named the National League Reliever of the Month. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
The weekend is here.
Go out and have fun.
SDFC hosts Dallas FC at Snapdragon Stadium. Let's get some love for our home team. It's game one between the Padres and Pirates in the Berg. We'll talk about this series and keep you updated after it starts. Now, it's time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. We'll keep you updated on this Padres-Pirates game. I have the radar pulled up. I like to play meteorologist on the radio. So Guess what? It is raining in Pittsburgh.
I know I just said that.
But my favorite term in baseball is there's a window.
Oh, so there's a window.
There's a window to get this game in as the rain is moving through Pittsburgh, but there's going to be a window to play tonight. I do believe.
They're going to get the game in, it seems.
Maybe, actually. I look at it doesn't look great. But I think they're going to try to play baseball tonight in Western Pennsylvania. We'll keep you updated on that start time. Now, Adrian Garcia Marquez, voice of SDFC, he will join us coming up at 5:30. Now, we did have John Nolan on the show, and we might bring back some of that interview coming up later this hour. The voice of the Tin Caps, Leo DeVries, off to a terrific start. So potentially you'll hear more from John Nolan at some point between now and 6 p.m. Now, we normally get to the wrap. We have Marshall in for his second consecutive day for Brent.
Yes.
No, now, Brent yesterday was seeing, what was he seeing?
Thunderbolts.
And today he's seeing?
I don't know.
Well, he texted you, I thought, yesterday. Weren't you texting back and forth? He's like, I'm going to see this tomorrow.
I think he might be taking his dog Peanut to a doctor's appointment. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Maybe he's listening and he could tell us what he's doing, but or not. Whatever.
But he's not here.
He's not here. He's taking an off day. Sometimes people need off days, John. No? Okay.
I mean, I agree with that. And that's why we got Marshall.
Yes.
So let's get going here with the wrap.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
All right, what do we got for the first question?
Who will win Game 7 between the Nuggets and the Clippers?
This is tomorrow in Denver.
I'm going with the Clippers. I'm going with the Clippers on this one.
Interesting.
I said at the start of the postseason, I thought the Clippers were a team that was going to make some real noise. They've been playing really good basketball to end their season. I'm going to take the Clippers.
I mean, I like where your head's at. That's who I'm rooting for. Denver's only a 1.5 point favorite at home. This could be a really good game.
It's been a very close series.
I'm going to go with who I want to win, which is the LA Clippers. They nearly gave that game away last night late against the Nuggets at the Intuit Dome, but they did hold on. It should be a hell of a game. It really should. You know, Jokic in this series, 30, 13, and 11.
It's good. That's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
All right, so we're both taking the Clippers, kind of maybe hoping to see the Clippers move on. But Nuggets at home, I think Nuggets have won 2 of the 3 at home so far.
Yeah, it's been kind of back and forth. Early on in the series, they both got a game on the road.
Yep.
So then now it's been back and forth, and I think if Norman Powell has just has to have like a 15 to 20 point game in Game 7, I think the Clippers win, because on the road Norman Powell's not been good, and at home he's been good, and they've won games at home, and they won yesterday with him at home. I do think though Kawhi's going to need to have a big night, obviously, and then James Harden as well. He's going to need to play really, really good basketball. I'm taking the Clippers.
Lincoln High School's Norman Powell.
Yes.
San Diego's
own.
All right. Next question.
Is Greg Popovich one of the best 3 coaches across all sports in our lifetime?
Yes. He is to me, is he already in the Hall of Fame? No.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think so. But he's clear. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won gold medals, and he's just one of the most respected coaches in basketball history. Obviously, he's the winningest coach in basketball history. one of the best three coaches
across all sports. I guess maybe professional sports. I mean,
he's got 4
I'll give you an
NBA
example.
titles.
But if you included, like, where do you put Belichick? Where do you put Saban if you went college?
Does he have 4 or 5?
He's got 5.
Okay, 5 is what I have.
Well, like, where would you put Nick Saban?
Oh, he's the best college coach ever.
Where would you put Bill Belichick?
He's the best NFL coach ever.
Where would you put Andy Reid? Where would you put, like, in our lifetime, where would you put, like, Joe Torre? Maybe that's not a perfect example. But, like, I think top 3 is fair, but there's some serious competition because our lifetimes have been long.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go back to, like, the 90s, there's going to be some competition.
Here's the thing in the NBA. The one person we have not mentioned is Phil Jackson, who has 10 NBA titles.
Right. So best 3 coaches across all sports in our lifetime?
Probably not then.
Maybe not. Now, across NBA, yes.
He's top 3 in NBA.
Yeah, he's like top 3 in NBA history. He is the winningest.
5 NBA
rings.
titles.
He's been amazing. I mean, his legacy is unbelievable.
You want to go all the way back to the Celtics teams. But, yeah, he's top 3, top 4.
Yeah, he's right there. His legacy is secure. Next question.
Would you take a 5-4 road trip for the Padres?
I think I would take a 5-4 road trip with the Padres, but the way they played the last 2 days here at Petco against the Giants makes you kind of believe that they have weathered their storm and that they can get back to their old self here, which what we saw the last 2 games against the Giants. So 5-4, I think I would take it, but ask me on Monday, because if on Monday they sweep the Pirates, and it's like, yeah, no,
that's not good enough.
Not good enough.
I would take a 9-0 trip. No, I'm taking 5-4 on the road. I mean, I'm just going to sign up for that right now because you get home 24-15 if you do that, and you're still playing really well, and you're about a quarter of the way through your season. I think they could play better than that. We went through 6-3. If you could sweep a series against either the Rockies or the Pirates, then you're right. I think they could play better than 5-4. But I would take it because I think the Padres this year are still under 500 on the road. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'll take a 5-4 trip right now.
Okay.
Next question.
Last question. Do you think Miles Byrd stays in the NBA draft?
I don't know, John.
Well, that's the whole point.
I hope, like, selfishly, I hope not. Now, am I saying I don't want Miles Byrd to go to the NBA? No, I want him to go to the NBA. Just, not this year. Go next year.
Okay, so I'm rooting for him to get to the NBA. And
I'm rooting for him to get the NBA too, but
this year or next. Now, only 75 players get a combine invite, and there's 59 players that will be selected in the draft. Now, I don't know if he would go if he wasn't assured of being a first-round pick or not. That's a whole nother question. Like, he could absolutely be drafted this year, but the question is this: could he improve his draft stock so much next year that it warrants coming back, right? Because let's say he went 35th overall in June, 2nd round pick, 2-way contract, chance to play in the NBA this upcoming season. That's good. But what if he came back to San Diego State and then improved his draft stock to like a top 20 pick? And now he's got the first round guarantees and the assurances.
See, that's the kind of thing.
That's my question.
That I think that's the best way to go about it for him. Again, I'm looking at it from a selfish lens, and I'm like,
need him.
You need him on this team this year because this team has potential to be really, really good.
Right.
But if he does get what he is looking for from NBA scouts, and then it's going to be a tougher decision. But we love Miles Byrd here, but we saw him at the end of last season. He needs some developing for sure. There are still a lot of things that he needs to work on, and he knows that.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you he's been told like things that he has to work on.
Yeah, I think there's an evaluation process where the NBA basically they want you to have the information. They don't want you guessing. They don't want players to leave if they don't have an NBA future or if they think they should go back and improve their stock. That's not the business they're in. They work like collaboratively. They don't try to put players in bad spots. So you get evaluated. I don't know what those evaluations say. To your point, I think the combine, you just get an opportunity to do it against comparable players. If you play well in the combine, you're improving your stock. And then there are workouts. And then he's got to make a decision this month. He needs to determine, based on the NCAA guidelines, whether he's staying or going this month. So I'm excited for him. I think the combine's on TV, isn't it?
Probably on NBA TV.
I'll
maybe.
be watching that,
of course
man. You know
will.
me.
Of course.
Look
you
at
will.
Miles Bird. He jumped
your
really
DVR.
high and hit that thing. What's that? You know that like stationary
vertical
jump and
jump?
you slam the. What is that thing?
The vert.
But you know what I mean? What are those things that they hit?
I don't know what they're called.
It's like bars that go across.
Yes, I know what the bars are called, but
he's going to jump high on that thing.
Okay, great. He will because he's got a long reach.
Right.
His wingspan is long.
So I'll be watching that.
Yes, you will.
I'll be watching the NBA draft lotto ball.
I need you
night.
to live tweet it.
I probably will.
Like
Because last year, I think Jaden
Miles
Ledee.
Bird just had a 41-inch vert.
Well, consider this. A year ago, Jaden Ledee did not get a combine invite. We spent a lot of time on that.
We did, yeah.
He got a G League combine invite. Some of those players then play up to the combine, but Jaden wasn't given that opportunity, even though he's really good in the G League combine. And then Jaden did not get drafted. And then what happened? He signed on with an NBA team, and then he ended up with the Clippers G League team? No.
Timberwolves, right?
Timberwolves G League team. Yeah.
Oh, great. He's in the second round of the playoffs.
Right. The T-Wolves are.
Yeah.
But he hasn't yet been in the NBA, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
It's just wild how the NBA, what it looks for. You know,
Dude,
you
it's
see
crazy.
college, Jaden Ledee was an All-American, but yet his style of play, it's not a easily
Transition?
easily transitionable.
I like that.
To the NBA.
You're right.
And that's something that Miles Bird's game can transition well because of his size, his length. He's a guard. He's not a center or a power forward that's, bases his game on physicality.
How tall is he? How tall is Miles Bird?
6'7"? Yeah, 6'7" guard.
Yeah. I mean,
those are, NBA teams love that.
not teaching that. So
Nope.
he's 6'7". All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a timeout. We have an updated start time for Padres and Pirates. We'll share it with you on the other side. There is a start time for Padres and Pirates at 5:30. Adrian Garcia Marquez will join the show. We are here until 6. This is John and Jim. All right, AM Radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now and keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. Jim, have you seen the news of when this Padres game will start tonight?
I have.
All right, so when will it start?
4:50.
All right, 4:50 is the start time. This was supposed to start at 3:40 Pacific. Tarp coming off the field, teams getting ready, pitchers throwing bullpens, 4:50 for game one. We will have baseball, we think, tonight in Pittsburgh to kick off this 9-game roadie.
I like it much better than a 3:40 start, tell you that.
I like it more than the 3:40 start, and I was hoping we weren't going to get word at some point tonight, like, oh, postpone, because they didn't play yesterday.
I know.
They had the day game on Wednesday.
Now, thankfully for us, it's Friday, so we got the weekend here.
We got the weekend.
They could bang out a couple tomorrow if they had to, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
True.
But you're right. And they've had this a lot recently because they just never play on Thursdays. The day game Wednesday, followed by an off day Thursday, followed by a night game Friday.
It feels like it's so long.
In the baseball landscape, that is forever before your next game.
It feels like it's been forever. And here's the thing, and hopefully we don't see a rainout on this trip. But when you lose a game to rainout, everyone's like, oh, great, we can go out and have a good night. But then when you play 2-on-1 game, you basically have a bullpen game on the other side of it. Because when you have two starters going the same day, someone's on short rest.
Yeah, doubleheaders they're not fun for the baseball team.
No, again,
they're fun for fans.
The players don't care, but then a front office and a manager, you got to deal with the ramifications of playing 2 games in one day, 18 innings in one day.
Because imagine game one, you use your A team in your bullpen. Morahone, Estrada, Adam, and Suarez. You're probably not going to use that same combination in your night game if you're in the same situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Especially if one of those pitchers threw 25 to 30 pitches, then they're definitely not being used that night. But if they only throw a couple, say Robert Suarez comes in, he has a 8 pitch out save, right? 8 pitch save.
Okay. Yeah.
I know. I misspoke.
Yeah.
With those 8 pitches and gets 3 outs,
then you can come back.
Then he probably can come back later that night.
Yeah, well, there's the adage in baseball, it's hard to sweep a doubleheader. I don't know if that's true or not, but they say it.
It's hard.
So I'd much prefer this. They will play, again, game one of this 3-game series coming up 4:50 or so Pacific Standard Time. So we touched on Greg Popovich. 1,422 wins, Jim. And by the way, John Nolan, voice of the Tin Caps, with more on the prospect, the top prospect in the organization, maybe the top in baseball, truthfully. Leo DeVries, our top position player prospect. We'll catch up with John Nolan if you missed it, coming up at 4:30. The Popovich numbers are ridiculous. The 5 rings, the 1,422 regular season wins, all the Hall of Famers that he's coached, winningest coach in the history of the league. It's kind of ridiculous. You look at what he did. His accomplishments are absurd, including 5 titles in 8 or 9 seasons at one point. Again, was it the flashiest? Are the Spurs ever going to be remembered like the Lakers of Showtime or the Warriors with Steph? Maybe not, but the results are the results. And it's 5 rings for Greg Popovich, which is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And if you forgot about Phil Jackson, then you would probably say that Greg Popovich is the greatest coach in NBA history, or one of. Like Red Auerbach, too.
Yep.
You think about him with the Celtics back in the day. Different landscape, obviously, but still, besides the point.
Yeah.
Those probably right there, the top 3, winningest coaches.
Right.
With the most accolades. Phil Jackson's career as a coach is insane. 11 titles, not 10, 11 titles. His coaching career record, 1,155 and 485, a winning percentage of basically 70%.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What? Now, he did also coach 2 of the greatest players in the history of the sport. 3 of 4. Yeah, 4 surefire Hall of Fame guys: Pippen, Jordan, Shaq, and Kobe. That helps. That helps a lot, right? But still, Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich, 2 of the best coaches ever. Greg Popovich dealing with some health problems, and it kind of was
Yeah.
an abrupt end to his coaching career because he hasn't coached this year for the Spurs, but he was expected to come back next year, and they just kind of pulled the plug and said, yeah, not a good idea with the travel and how much stress it puts on your body. And
he's going to remain as president of basketball operations,
which is smart.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the drafts and all the talent that the Spurs have collected over the years, late in the draft, that has turned into Hall of Fame players, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. They got, Kawhi.
Yeah.
Like they got lucky with Victor. Like that was
that was the first play in the draft.
Right.
Yep.
But still. And then they got Tim Duncan, David Robinson and whatnot. But overall, his eye for talent, it's unmatched.
No doubt. I was going to say, is it kind of the last of his type where you're going to coach in the NBA for 30 years? We see so much movement. You see guys that win NBA titles that get fired within 2 years. But then what came to my mind was Eric Spoelstra, who's only 54. He's been with the Heat since 2008. He has multiple rings. I don't think he gets near I feel like Eric Spoelstra to some extent is underrated, but he might coach the Heat, Jim, for 30 plus years. He's been there since 2008, and he's won something like 700 or 800 games.
But he hasn't been the head coach since 2008, right?
He has.
He has?
He's been the head coach since 2008 when he was in his 30s. I think so. I'm looking at his Wikipedia page. Scroll down. Are you on his page?
I'm not.
Okay, yeah. He's been the head coach there since 2008. He's got 787 wins.
Okay.
So I was going, but weren't you thinking that? I was thinking with Pop, we're not going to see that again, man. Everyone loses their jobs within 2 years. You win the NBA Finals, they fire you. Nuggets fire their coach. Every team fires their coach, right?
Right.
We can do better. Bucks fire their coach. I still think a coach like Popovich or Spoelstra, this is going to become way less the norm moving forward.
I agree.
Way less.
I agree. Steve Kerr is another name out there, but
good point.
I don't envision him deciding after Steph Curry decides to retire to be like, yeah, I want to coach here for another 15 years.
Right. He's not a pup anymore, right? He's 59. For some reason, I feel like I always think he's older than that.
Steph's got it. 3 years left there, maybe 2.
Right.
So, yeah, coaching to your 60s. He's coached there since 2014. He's won 4 titles. He has one of the best winning percentages in NBA history.
648. Yep.
It's incredible.
Yep. Yeah, he's no, that's a good point.
No, sorry, he has 4 titles.
4 titles.
Yeah.
Been
to the finals 6 times.
Right.
But a lot of it, it's like, the stuff with Mike Schilt. Like, Mike Schilt became a better manager today because he got his players back. Steve Kerr's a pretty good head coach because he's got Steph Curry.
True, but it is hard because to your point, Phil Jackson had great players, but do other coaches win at that same high clip?
Yeah, no, you can't. I know there's some people out there, you just plug and play anybody.
Same thing with Pop. Okay, yeah, he had Hall of Famers too,
He's
a number
really
of them.
Coach.
Yeah, I still think he gets credit for getting them to that level. To win 5 rings, they didn't win 1.
Yeah,
they didn't win 2. They won 5.
Yeah, there is no sport of the major sports where a manager or a coach should be overlooked, and it doesn't matter. I've heard that take before. Manager doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Coach doesn't matter. Yes, it does. They matter a lot. Now, do they matter more in other sports than some? Probably, yeah.
And the players matter too, obviously.
Yeah, like the NFL, you need really good coaching. Coaching matters a lot in the NFL. NBA, if you got the star players, you don't have to, you're going to look better, obviously, but you're still going to have to manage the team. You're still going to have to, like JJ Redick, he has Luka, and he completely crumbled in this series. And a lot of people are looking at JJ Redick as a big reason why the Lakers lost.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't just have Luka. I mean, he still has LeBron. Yeah, I know.
There are chess moves that need to be made in the NBA, in baseball, that matter, and that has to do with coaching.
I agree. All right. If you missed our conversation with John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, we're going to share that with you on the other side. Plus, Adrian Garcia Marquez, the voice of SDFC, will join us at 5:30. We're here until 6. This is John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, Straight Talk Wireless. Padres and Pirates, they're in a rain delay, but the scheduled start time of this game is now at 4:50 Pacific. Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres against Mitch Keller for the Pirates. NBA action tonight, just one game. It's a big one. Game 6, Rockets and Warriors. Warriors looking to eliminate the Rockets and move on to round 2, where they would face the Minnesota Timberwolves. Back to baseball here. Robert Suarez, he was named the National League Reliever of the Month. And STFC takes on FC Dallas tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. 5:45 is when our pregame coverage starts. 6:15 is when we have kickoff. You can listen to the match right here on San Diego Sports 760. Straight Talk right now, Straight Talk might not be on your shopping list, but it should be. Next time you're grabbing some milk off the shelf at your local Walmart, stop by the Straight Talk aisle and switch to Real Unlimited Data. It's quick and convenient and won't even take up room in your cart.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez coming up at 5:30. Let's preview tonight. Coming up as well, Rockets Warriors that Jim just mentioned. Warriors will win away. Rockets trying to force a 7th game. But if you missed it earlier, friend of the show, John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps, single A affiliate of the Padres, joined us. We talked a lot about Leo DeVries, but we started the conversation congratulating John because he's going to be the next voice of the Indiana Fever in the WNBA. Take a listen.
Yeah, no, first of all, John, Jim, thanks for having me as always. And yes, this is a bittersweet thing for me because very excited to have the chance to call up to the WNBA with the Indiana Fever. And perhaps down the road, you'll want to have me on to talk Caitlin Clark and whatnot. But I will, in the coming weeks, be moving away from the Tin Caps, the Padres High A affiliate, where I've been since 2013, originally starting as an intern and kind of working my way up. So it is a mixed feelings here. And now the only question is, who's leaving Fort Wayne first, me or Leo DeVries? The race is on.
Right. Okay, so let's get into
2 weeks,
that.
Leo.
Yeah, Leo's got a couple of weeks. By the way, if you can get us Caitlin for 4 p.m., that'd be helpful. Maybe 60 minutes from now.
And if you can't do 4 p.m., 4:30 is good.
Yeah, I've been sharing with people that I'm leaving. I've also just added in a pre-apology for not being able to help anyone out with tickets.
True.
Or I'll add in media requests too.
All right, tell us about Leo DeVries because the numbers are jumping off the page. Everyone saw highlights from that cycle game, but it's been more than that, obviously. I see the doubles and the triples and the homers and the OPS. What's been most enjoyable or what's impressed you most about this month?
Yeah, and just to reset again for anyone who maybe isn't fully aware. So Leo is still 18. He will not turn 19 until October. So this entire minor league baseball season, he's 18. He's the youngest player at the high A level. You know, for that matter, if he was at the low A or single A level, he would be close to the youngest there. And so you think back in 2017, Tatis was at the lower, sometimes they call it single A level in Fort Wayne. And Jackson Merrill, he was 19 turning 20 when he was with Fort Wayne. So just the context there of how young Leo is here at the high A level. And he is doing things that we have not seen anyone do, let alone the youngest player in the league. So right now, leading the Midwest League in OPS and slugging percentage. He's basically top 10 in every offensive category. You mentioned he hit for the cycle a week and a half ago in Fort Wayne's 30-plus year hit franchise history. He was only the third player to ever hit for the cycle. In that game in which he hit for the cycle, he hit 2 home runs. So you look at the all-time Major League Baseball record books, they don't have this readily available in the minors, but there have only been like 7 guys in the last 110 years who've ever hit for the cycle in a big league game with 2 home runs as part of that cycle. And 5 of them are Hall of Famers like Joe DiMaggio or Lou Gehrig. It's just crazy stuff. And then in case people didn't see this, shared by MLB's social media account. So not saying the Tin Cap social media account, not even saying the minor league baseball social media account, saying the at MLB social media account. They've been posting Leo highlights, including a game clinching catch that he made last night. So at shortstop, there was a ball sent out the shallow left center field. Tying runs are on base, so this is like a high leverage situation. I thought off the bat that it was going to be the center fielder's ball. Center fielder wasn't getting to it. Somehow Leo did, diving away into the outfield. I am not one for hyperbole, but I cannot think of a better defensive play that ended a game that I have seen in minor league baseball. So this is just spectacular. And, part of it too that just wows you is that, like, Leo's not that impressed with himself doing this. Like, he expects to dominate. Our manager, Lucas Ray, Lucas is a pretty reasonable guy. So he's not someone who's trying to say stuff to, get clicks or anything like that. But I mean, Lucas has said he's read a bunch of books about Michael Jordan, watched, The Last Dance and everything. And he feels like Leo has some like MJ mentality in him where if like you challenge him and you kind of question whether he's capable of something, he is going to set out to prove you wrong. And I'm not really sure anyone had any doubts about whether or not he could come in and thrive in Fort Wayne. Although, like, the one thing that some people maybe would is just that the weather here has been horrible. I talked to you guys about that back in mid-April. It's warmed up a little bit, but it's still been wet. And so it still just hasn't really felt like a good baseball season. And yet now that is not stopping him from being the best player in this league so far. So again, this is only a step on the journey to trying to impact things at Petco Park and to bring a World Series to San Diego. But right now, Leo is definitely ahead of the game, especially when you compare it to what guys like Tatis and Merrill just a couple years ago were doing here.
Well, hopefully he's better than Michael Jordan at baseball.
Baseball, yes. Yes. And what, for fun, one thing I need to try to discover here before Leo does get promoted to Double-A San Antonio is that actually, when you talk about the overall athleticism for him as a shortstop, in the Dominican Republic growing up, he did play basketball. He was a point guard. I mean, I need to learn a little bit more about, what level he was at basketball wise. I know that's actually, the Dominican often qualifies for the Olympics in basketball. It's a respectable basketball culture there. So, yes, I think maybe things even out between MJ and Leo, between baseball and basketball.
Well, great. He's going to get drafted by the Lakers, and then the Lakers are going to win the title, and it's awesome. Everything's just great with Leo DeVries.
Actually, under how many years until First Take has a topic, who's better, Leo or Bronny?
Right, exactly, yeah. Right. And how does this affect LeBron James' legacy? So that will all come up in the Talking Head shows. I don't know if you saw, but Kylie McDaniel, who is very dialed into prospect rankings and in the minors especially, he wrote the other day, and I don't have it in front of me, but we talked about it yesterday, that if Leo DeVries came out right now in the MLB draft, he would be the clear-cut number one pick in the draft. Did you happen to see that?
I did not. I do follow Kylie. I missed that one, but I definitely would take his word for it. Yeah, he's one of the authorities. ESPN has him at the desk when they have coverage of the MLB draft. And I mean, that's no surprise. I know there's the latest holiday. Last time I looked is the projected top pick. I can't claim to be a Mel Kiper Jr. or Kylie McDaniel when it comes to draft coverage here. But I mean, I can't imagine any high school kid is going to be better than Leo. Maybe, then if you were to compare him to a college player, it's different because a college player is going to have a few years on him. So they might be more polished. But when you think about the ultimate ceiling for Leo, it would seem to be, not to go low hanging fruit reference here, but like slam dunk that he would be the top pick. I mean, as I think about it, something that's really incredible with Leo is he can be behind in the count 0-2, and I still feel like he is actually controlling the plate appearance. It just doesn't really matter if he's behind 0-2 because he is unflappable in his approach, and so he's still not going to chase, and he's going to spoil some pitchers' pitches, and he just has this level of confidence to him that is definitely rare.
Tatis was with the Tin Caps previously, right?
Right, yeah. So he was the Tin Caps and the Lake Elsinore Storm kind of flip-flopped in terms of being low A, high A. So Tatis, ultimately, I was saying in the first month that Tatis was here, he really struggled. He was hitting like below 200 compared to Leo, better than 300. Ultimately, by the end of May, Memorial Day or so, it really clicked for Tatis, and he set the franchise record here for home runs in a season. And that was in less than a full season before he went up to Double-A San Antonio. So Tatis, for all my years here, over a decade, best talent I've ever seen. I feel like it would be too early to not the same kind of sample size to compare Leo and Tatis here, but Leo's like clearly put himself in the class of just players that are special, and I feel like box office basically, like when he's up, you want to make sure if you're a fan, online for beer, or cotton candy or whatnot, you want to make sure you're turning around when he's up.
No doubt about it. John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. He's held that title for the last decade. With us right now on John and Jim. So, I mean, what's typical here? I mean, I remember it when I was in the minors as well. I mean, typically organizations want to see players at a level for maybe a half year, right, John? So, I mean, are we looking at the possibility of a call up at some point in May? Or are you thinking maybe more like the middle of the summer, somewhere in June or later?
So to be clear, I can't say I've talked about this with anyone from the Padres, so not trying to speak as a complete insider here. But you, John, you just said typically, right? Well, I don't think we usually use the word typically when we're dealing with AJ Preller, right? Like, he is not trying to be typical. So my hunch would be that Leo could be moving up to San Antonio sooner rather than later, in the month of May. I'm not really kidding when I say I know I'm leaving the team in 2 weeks, and I'm not sure who will be gone quicker between me and Leo, because as I think AJ says, the top talent rises quickly, and it just seems like Leo's rising, and they like to challenge these guys. So I don't know all the factors that go into it. I will say, I mean, he's not been as smooth, or I should say he's not been as consistent at shortstop as you would want to see. Then you can say, yeah, he's 18 years old and he's got to work on consistency and always being maybe fully engaged defensively every pitch. So he made the spectacular play last night, but you'd like to see him go a full week without bobbling a ball or having a poor throw to first. He's made more errors. Like, if we're going to give him all this praise, then you got to critique him, to be fair too. And so he's not been good enough 100% at shortstop, but still, what he's capable of when he is fully focused out there. Yeah, I mean, offensively though, he's kind of proven that he's probably too good for the high A level and could use the challenge of Double-A.
What I heard is greatest player ever.
Yeah, we heard he'll be in the big leagues tomorrow. Thank you, John, for breaking that news for No, we're kidding. John, congratulations, man, on the opportunity with the Indiana Fever. Congrats on leaving minor league baseball from someone that spent a decade also working in minor league baseball. So,
except you're going to a professional sports franchise, and John is still stuck with me.
I'm stuck in San Diego, man. It's tough. It's tough out here. It's like 70 outside.
I know.
John, appreciate you, man.
I do feel a sense of being released. I'm free. And last note, I'm very excited to work with Adam Helmer. He's he works for the Fever on their staff as the head video coordinator. He is an Aztec for life, graduated class of 2013. So he worked with both, the old coaching staff and the current coaching staff. So Aztecs have a presence with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
All right, we'll get Adam on the show when we get Caitlin on the show. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, man.
About the Caitlin interview request, I don't know, but I'll give you Adam's number.
Yeah, that sounds good. Today or Monday works. Thanks, John.
Exactly.
Best of luck. Okay. We'll talk soon. All right, great connecting with John Nolan, voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. We'll have Adrian Garcia Marquez, SDFC, joining us at 5:30. We have something we need to share with our listeners on the other side that we will do. Plus, we'll get you ready for Rockets and Warriors tonight, Game 6 in the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference. Don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim. right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us coming up at 5:30. Keep you updated on the Padres who will get their series underway in Pittsburgh later on tonight. So we were just kind of chatting, right? Me and you back and forth. And we're like, I saw some ad on my computer and I'm like, do I have a real ID? Because I need it to fly.
Because the deadline is, I believe, May 7th.
Right,
which is coming up here very quickly.
It's May 7th. So I'm like, do I have a real ID? And then you start freaking me out. You're like, no, you don't. But then you're like, just kidding, you do. So then I'm like, well, when does my ID expire? And I eventually found, I'm like, oh, it's not until 2027. You're like, well, my ID already expired. And you're flying to Hawaii. So you have an expired ID that we found out because I was asking about real IDs.
Yeah. It says that mine expired on my birthday this year. Which was
they're always on your birthday.
February 5th.
So you haven't looked at your ID since February 5th, or nobody's told you it's expired.
I've nothing.
You haven't flown since February 5th.
Not that I know of. Wait.
Or do they let you fly with an expired license?
I'm pretty sure. Did I fly?
I don't think you've gone anywhere.
Since my birthday? So, okay.
You don't go anywhere.
No, I go places.
Where do you go?
I don't know. All right, I didn't fly in February.
You haven't?
No, I did. I feel like I did go away.
You were gone for no. You were off when Aaron was.
No, I went somewhere. I know I did. I just forget where I went.
So you think they let you on a plane with an expired ID? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you have a passport because you went overseas.
I didn't use my passport when I.
But I'm saying, here's what I would do if I were you, because if I'm flying to Hawaii, I'm not going to try to fly with an expired ID. I would bring my passport.
Did we go to Vegas?
Not me and you.
No,
I did in March.
I
don't think you've gone anywhere. But I'm glad we had this conversation because what if you got to the airport to go to Hawaii with Aaron for your honeymoon and they're like, nah, just kidding. You're not going anywhere.
That'd be a problem.
She would have freaked out. And then you just be like, hey, Aaron, I'll meet you there. You get on the plane. I'll meet you a day later.
Now, luckily, I do have a passport. So
right.
That's not a problem. I'm trying to remember. Did I fly anywhere?
No, Jim.
I don't think I did.
You haven't been anywhere.
I do go places.
Nah, it's okay. It's fine. You don't need to fly anywhere. You're going to Hawaii in a couple of weeks.
True.
And now you're going to, here's what I would do though. I would get that ID renewed.
Oh, I know.
Because I think you're asking for trouble if you try getting on a plane with an expired ID, would be my guess.
I know I went somewhere. I just don't remember where. Anyway,
okay.
It's whatever.
All right.
So I've been driving around and I also got a ticket too. So
for what?
For what do you think?
You've recently got a ticket?
Yes.
Parking next to a stop sign.
No.
Going 66 and a 65.
No. What?
You got a ticket like not putting money in a meter?
No, I was on my phone.
Oh, that's right. That happened recently. And that was like $400 or $500, right?
No, it was like $200.
Okay.
Wasn't a lot of money. Anyway,
what happened then? Did you have to show your ID?
Yes, you give your license and registration.
And he didn't give you another fine for having an expired license?
No. Interesting.
Are you sure it's expired?
It says expiration date 2/5/25.
Okay. Point is, get a real ID though.
Get a real ID out there, everybody.
So you tell me if I show up to the airport, non-expired ID, but it's not a real ID, they're not going to let me on a plane?
If you show up to the airport
with a real ID,
yes,
that is non-expired, but isn't.
What?
It's not the real ID. If I show up with an ID that is not real ID, they're not letting me on the plane?
Correct.
Wow. Because they kept pushing that date back for like months and maybe
now
years.
And I remember every time I would fly, they're like, make sure you get your real ID.
Right.
And I'm like, I already got it.
But now it's expired.
Apparently it is, John.
Well, you can thank me for that.
Thank you.
Because if not, you would have gotten to the airport.
Oh my goodness.
Later this month, tried to get on the plane, and they would have laughed in your face.
Correct. It would have been a disaster.
Aaron would have been bawling. Is Bentley going to Hawaii?
What do you think?
No.
He's not going to Hawaii.
Why? It's an American
He's
dog.
a dog.
Aaron brings him all over the country, does she not? You might have gone to North Carolina.
I did.
Not that when though?
But that was Christmas.
Yes. But you brought Bentley to North Carolina, right?
Yeah, but that was like for Christmas, John, with family members. This is a vacation in Hawaii where we're staying at hotels and resorts.
God. so funny.
That would be impossible to
It would
bring
be
back.
impossible. I know. All right, here's what we're going to do in the 5 o'clock hour. We will preview tonight in the NBA Rockets Warriors. That is game 6. Warriors with a win. You're so annoying.
I did that on purpose.
No, you didn't. You were sneezing. Maybe the
loudness of it.
Warriors with the win, move on. Rockets with the win, force a game 7. Also coming up at 5:30 again, Adrian Garcia Marquez. We haven't spent a ton of time on SDFC here today, but they've lost 3 straight. They're taking on FC Dallas. FC Dallas has not lost on the road this year. So again, that's coming up tomorrow night at 6:15. You can hear it on San Diego Sports 760 with pregame coverage beginning at 5:45. Kind of a big match. FC Dallas 6th place in the West, and San Diego FC 7th place in the West. So that'll be again tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium.
Something's got to give.
Something's got to give, and we'll have it for you. And Adrian Garcia Marquez will get us ready coming up at 5:30. But again, a look at the NBA postseason with Warriors and Rockets coming up tonight, and Clippers and Nuggets coming up tomorrow. That'll kick off hour 4 of John and Jim, and it's next.
Hi, Aaron.
Oh, all right.
All right, this update's brought to you by RCP Block and Brick. Padres and Pirates underway now in Pittsburgh. Top of the first inning there. Still scoreless, obviously, with the Padres and the Pirates. Still in Cease on the mound for the Padres. Mitch Keller on the mound for the Pirates. NBA action tonight. Just one game. We have the Rockets against the Warriors, game 6. Warriors looking to close out the Rockets and move on to the second round of the postseason, where they would face the Timberwolves. SDFC, they take on FC Dallas tomorrow night. 5:45 is when our pregame coverage starts. 6:15 start time. Listen to the match right here on San Diego Sports 760. RCP Block and Brick is your number one source for handscape and supplies. Their experts and teams help contractors and DIYers get the job done right when the largest selection of professional L-grade products are in town. Family owned, trusted since 1947. Start your project today with RCP Block and Brick.
The weekend is here.
Go out, have fun.
SDFC hosts Dallas FC at Snapdragon Stadium. Let's get some love for our home team. It's game 1 between the Padres and Pirates in the Berg. We'll talk about this series and keep you updated after it starts. Now, it's time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of John and Jim. Adrian Garcia Marquez, voice of SDFC, will join us, Jim, in about 30 minutes. Padres and Pirates underway from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Say that 3 times. It's a lot of P's.
PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
But
PNC
Padres
Park
and Pirates underway from PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Padres and Pirates underway at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Padres and Pirates underway at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Padres and Pirates underway at PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
I'm impressed.
Oh, that was so
That
difficult.
was really good. That's very good.
That was difficult.
No score mid-first. I had a complaint.
Give me your complaint.
So I have the MLS package for Apple TV to watch SDFC. Great production. I've enjoyed it. Okay. So, all right, it's fine. I think it's $99 a year. All right. Well, it's great.
Good, cool.
So I log into Apple TV to watch tonight's game, Padres and Pirates, because I've got MLS. Well, apparently I don't have Apple TV Plus. I've got the MLS season pass. But shouldn't I also have Apple TV Plus if I have the MLS season pass, Jim? You have MLS season pass, right?
I do. You could accept the free trial, and then it's $9.99 a month after that.
I saw that, but then what if I forget?
That is very true. I don't want to do it.
That's what I'm saying, but I kind of want to do it because we have to do it for tonight.
I know. That sucks.
Isn't that annoying?
You know what? Screw it. Do the free trial. Just got to remember to
So you got me doing, not you.
Yeah. I'll remind you.
Soft, dude.
Or will I? Just accept.
Remind me.
Okay.
Here's the
free trial. Free trial it.
Hey Siri, remind me tomorrow at 4 p.m. to cancel the free trial.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, it's done.
All right.
Perfect. So then put the game on and then we're good to go.
That's what I'm trying to do.
All right.
Watch live. All right. While I do that, and look at this, I got the new monitor in here.
Oh, it must be nice.
While we do that, I know what you're gonna be watching tonight, in addition to this game.
Oh, yeah.
What time's this Rockets Warriors game?
6 o'clock.
So 6 o'clock Rockets Warriors. Do you feel decent even though you watch game 5? I feel like game 5 is a throwaway. Bad start. At that point, they never seriously were trying to win this game. Let's be fair. All their effort now into game 6 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at all concerned based on the way game 5 played out? Because as an independent observer, I wouldn't be concerned based on game 5.
If they were going to lose, you'd want them to lose like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a Warriors fan, because exerting all this energy in game 5 and then come up short and then not win and then only have 1 day of rest between game 5 and game 6.
Right.
That's a tough ask. And then if you have a clunker in game 6, then guess what? Game 7, it's only 48 hours away as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like you got to pick and choose your battles. And the saying we have all the time is like, sometimes you got to lose a battle to win a war.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt with game 5 in Houston. That thing was over early. We watched it. I mean, it was a avalanche from the jump.
Yeah, it trailed by 30 in the first half.
Yep.
With their bench, they actually pulled to within, 13 at some point midway through the fourth quarter. I just don't see it as overly relevant. And here's another reason why. They've played really well at home in this series. They have 2 wins at home. They won 1 game without Jimmy Butler.
But they've been very close games. They have not been like 15, 20-point wins. They've been like last possession of the game type of wins.
So let's see. The betting line tonight for this game. What's your guess? Have you seen it?
No, I'm guessing the Warriors are favored by like what, 3?
5.5.
Wow.
So they're fairly heavy favorites tonight. Warriors at home. I'd call it a must win for Golden State.
Yeah, I would.
No, I'm serious. I mean, it's not technically because it's game 6, but how good would you feel heading to Houston if you lose tonight? Not great if you're a Warriors fan.
I would feel awful because of the turnaround.
Right.
And
then if they win.
If Steph plays 41 minutes tonight and they like don't win, that's a big problem.
Right, now he's on tired legs for game 7.
Same thing with Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler plays 41, 42 minutes tonight and they don't win, uh-oh.
Well, then you mentioned for either team with game 7, then you turn around to play on a day's rest for game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals.
Yeah, game 1 would be on Tuesday if it goes to 7. If it ends tonight, which I'm hoping it does, game 1's on Monday. So it's either 2 days off or 1 day off.
That's a big difference.
Huge difference.
Yep. And you don't have to travel to Houston.
Yeah.
So this is just Golden State, Bay Area to Minnesota as opposed to Bay Area, Houston, Minneapolis.
Yep. They would have to go pretty much, they wouldn't come back to the Bay Area. They would just go from Houston
straight to Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting series. I mean, if it is the Warriors, and again, they're expected to win the series now at home for game 6. A T-Wolves Warriors Western Conference semifinals be pretty intriguing. Again, with what the T-Wolves just did to the Lakers, the Warriors have been impressive here, obviously, potentially going to take down the 2 seed if they do win tonight or in game 7. And then I still would have to guess. What's the other side? Oklahoma City's going to get who on the other side? Of the
Clippers or the Nuggets.
Right, Clippers or Nuggets. I mean, Oklahoma City's going to be a heavy favorite in that series, won't they?
They will, yeah. And then you got a very juicy matchup with the Knicks and the Celtics.
Yeah, you don't get that every day.
No,
yeah,
you don't.
Yeah.
And then Cavs and
Pacers
in round 2 in the Eastern Conference. All good matchups potentially, no matter what, in the postseason.
I'm on this like kick where I feel like Oklahoma City is this like dominant team.
Well, they are this dominant.
They were in the regular season, but then again, like Houston had a good regular season. It's a little different now in the postseason. I don't know. Is someone going to test Oklahoma City in the West? I say yes. Someone will test them, right?
Yep. You know why they're going to get tested?
Why?
In my opinion, is that they've never been there before.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think they're going to get tested.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it depends if they face the Nuggets in round 2. You got a bunch of experience with the Nuggets against not much experience with the Thunder. So they could get tested there.
Mm-hmm.
I still got to see what the Warriors, like, if the Warriors win tonight, I don't know what their chances are to get past Minnesota in the West. I just don't, because the size that Minnesota has, Warriors cannot match up with that. Yeah, they got Jimmy and Steph, but guess who Minnesota has? Anthony Edwards. He's really like they can't match the size of Minnesota. I think, though, if I were to pick a team right now to give the Thunder the most trouble, I think I would take the Clippers.
Veteran team, played well late in the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think they maybe swept the Clippers in the regular season for whatever it's worth. I remember we had that conversation maybe with Farbod Esnashari.
Hey, regular season numbers.
Yeah, it's different.
Regular,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I'm looking at experience. I'm looking at the health. I'm looking at all those factors. Now, could I be completely wrong? Yeah, of course I could.
Sure. But no, your point.
I think the Clippers, with what they have with Kawhi, and don't count out Zubac either.
Am I counting him out?
No, you're not. I'm just saying, don't count him out.
What's the fallout here with the Lakers? Because I'll give you the reason I say it that way.
Yeah.
You got what Redick said yesterday at the year end, where it's like, we need to get in championship shape. Just say Luka. You got the Luka trade.
Luka's
right?
fat.
Right. You got the trade that didn't go perfectly in year 1. You have now LeBron. It's being reported today that he had a sprained MCL after game 5.
He would have missed game 6 if they were to win the other night.
He's 22 years in. What was the thing that Sham said within the last day? Like, maybe he's going to stick around to play with his other son.
He'll probably return for another year.
So he's probably going to return for one final season. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Next year, that's it.
Nah,
Not necessarily.
we'll see.
Okay. How old's his son that could?
He's going to go into college this year, so he's going to play at Arizona.
Why did I forget that?
So
That's right.
LeBron would need to play 2 years.
To play with his other son.
Correct.
And they can all be one happy family on the Lakers.
Right. Bronny throwing to Bryce, throwing to LeBron, 2 points.
For the championship game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Not quite.
To beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
All right. It does just feel like that as good as it was, the high of trading for Luka. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, how could it happen? And that may still be true when it's all said and done a decade from now. It feels like we're a long way from that day. That day, there was like elation and how could this happen? And you've handed the Lakers all these rings, and maybe they have in the future, but it just feels like we're a long way from that.
But it doesn't just end there. Like they have to continue to build around Luka.
Right.
And if they just don't build around Luka, then yeah, you're right. Then that trade will be looked at much differently. But if they went out, and I know that this was talked a lot about at the time, getting a big man, right? They went out and got a big man.
Oh, there was an issue with the physical?
But the Lakers said, yeah, no, we don't like that physical.
Right.
Now, Mark Williams, he ended up playing, and he was playing some really good basketball. I think he averaged like 15 and almost 10 this year. Now, he only played, I think, in 40-something games. But if the Lakers had him this series, that would have changed, I think, everything. So it's just begun, the Luka.
Yeah, to like build out the roster around him. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you gotta build around Luka, because if you don't, you're wasting it, and you're gonna be just like the Dallas Mavericks, where you hit a spot where you're like, we don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, this narrative as it continues with Luka, because he's gonna have to win sooner rather than later, right? Because he's not the type of player.
Won, but he just hasn't won a ring. The ring.
You're right. But now that you're in LA, where you're going to be defined based on rings, because the Lakers win as many as anyone, right? Them and the Celtics. So that's going to be part of it. And the other thing is, I don't know if I'm counting on Luka to have the better half of his career in his 30s. Where like LeBron has done all this winning from 30 on, right? He's done so much winning over the last 10 or 11 years. Steph Curry's done so much winning in his 30s. Maybe Luka will be that player, but there's a lot of questions about his health and fitness. And he's 26 years of age, which is young.
The one thing that pisses me off when I watch Luka play is he just bitches and cries to the refs.
The officials.
So much. It's ridiculous to watch. And it's such a turnoff. And it's the type of basketball player that I don't want to like root for. I'm sorry. I wouldn't root for him anyway, because I'm the Lakers and I like the Lakers. But at the same time, he just comes off as just this whiny player that woe is me all the time. Like, really, dude? And a lot of the times that he's arguing, nothing he's arguing is true. It's like, oh, it's a foul. It's like, no, it wasn't. It's like, oh, I can't believe he didn't call a foul on that guy. Well, it wasn't a foul.
Mm-hmm.
And he just bitches and cries and moans all the time to the refs.
It's not a great look.
Such a bad look.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, there's a text we need to get to on the other side, and we will. 70470 started with the word team. Updates from PNC Park in Pittsburgh, where the Padres and Pirates series is underway. Plus, Adrian Garcia Marquez, the voice of SDFC, will get us ready for tomorrow at Snapdragon Stadium. He'll join the show coming up at 5:30 to preview that match. FC Dallas, SDFC. We're here until 6 p.m. This is John and Jim. All right. So, are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, guys, it is Schaefer. If you're like most people, you've racked up a sizable amount of credit cards or on your credit cards. The monthly payment is not making a dent in it. It's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us coming up at 5:30. We'll talk about SDFC, Padres Pirates underway and scoreless in the second inning. There was a text I wanted to get to, Jim.
Okay.
And this is what the text says, talking about your expired license, right?
Yeah.
760 says, did this before. The TSA guy said you have up to a year after the expiration date.
Oh,
Now, are you gonna just, I love how you're gonna just trust that? Trust the process? I still think you have to bring a passport to the airport.
Yeah.
As a backup.
Well, I am currently in the process right now of figuring out how to like renew this license.
I like that.
Because my wife was listening to that segment and she texted me towards the end of this segment. She goes, your license ... is expired ...
Right. So she's listening.
And it was like, uh-oh. And we're going to Hawaii in like this month.
Right.
And we know the DMV. You know the DMV. Everyone listening knows the DMV.
It's hard to get in.
It's ridiculous.
Right.
Things take forever.
Right.
Luckily, I have a passport, so we are good. But still, she said, thank you.
Yeah, because without me, I think you guys are probably stuck at the airport. No, I think what would have happened is they would have said, hey, listen, get it renewed. You have up to a year on that.
Yeah, because it expired just a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah, just a couple of months.
Fine.
It is interesting that you were pulled over and then they mentioned it to you.
Yeah, I was pulled over because I was putting my phone on my dashboard and the cop was like, you were texting. I was like, actually, I wasn't this time.
Right.
I was literally just putting my phone on my dashboard. I got a stupid ticket. And I was like trying to tell this guy, it was so dumb. I was getting gas and I pulled out of the gas station, took my phone out of my pocket, put it on the dash. And the guy's like, you're on your phone.
And he gave you a ticket.
Gave me a ticket.
Just like that.
I was like, dude, I was literally just at the gas station. I wasn't on the phone. Anyway, so yeah, they looked at the ID and
can I make a quick point?
I know what you're going to say.
Here's the thing. So I just signed up for the free trial of Apple TV.
Yes.
But I did it for my Gmail account.
Okay.
And I have another account for my phone
somewhere.
That's like my Apple TV on my phone. So now I signed up for like a second account. Here's the issue for me. Like if I have Padres.tv, right? $99 a year or $20 a month. Shouldn't I be able to just watch all the games, even if they're on Apple TV or they're on Roku or they're on Peacock or they're on ESPN? Like, shouldn't that allow me the opportunity to watch all the games? like as the consumer, as the buyer, like I spent the $100 on your games. Yeah, now I got to go buy the games on Apple and I got to buy the games on Roku. Don't you sense that? Like, isn't that all I want is the ability to watch these games. Whatever it costs is fine. But I hate when they piecemeal off a game or two. You know, hey, you want to watch Apple TV? You need to have this subscription. You want to watch Peacock? You have to have this subscription. You want to watch Padres.tv? You have to have this subscription. Isn't that annoying?
Yes.
As a sports fan?
Yes, it's extremely annoying.
Because all we do is watch sports. All I want to do is watch these things, and they make it hard to do it.
You know what I would love is
What?
what Apple TV does. No, sorry, not Apple TV, YouTube TV. Which is now they are giving you the opportunity to create your own multi-view, like
right,
whatever you want. So tonight, I would love if I could have just YouTube TV and then have on one side of the screen the Warriors game and then the other side of the screen the Padres game.
You know what I miss to that point? Cable.
Well,
like whatever I miss,
like with the return, you just hit return and you're there.
I miss turning on the television and having Bally Sports San Diego.
Yeah.
And then to your point, you could picture it back in the day with NBA playoffs.
Well, guess what, John? You can't do that.
You just said it. You're like YouTube TV. It's great. Now you can pair an NFL game with an NBA game, or you can put any college football games together. But you can't if a game is on Apple TV because that's not part of the YouTube TV interface.
Correct.
So what are you going to do about it, Jim?
I'm going to send a very strong worded email.
Someone needs to figure that out. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You should figure it out, John.
There should be a way to watch a streamer with cable at the same time. I should be able to watch a Peacock college football game with Warriors Rockets next to it.
I mean, I agree with you.
I just don't. Is it that hard? It's 2025, man.
Yes, because there's like 10 different streaming platforms out there and they make you pay for all of them.
Right.
You can't just have one. You have to pay for it all. Now they are doing a lot of bundles like Hulu and Disney Plus and then like Showtime and Paramount.
I know.
Pairing together and like HBO Max. I think it's paired with something else.
Right. I know. It's just, to me, it's confusing. I want all the channels. I'll pay the money. Just give me all the channels. I miss the days when on cable TV, I had all the channels. Like you could have DirecTV, you could watch the NFL, and then you could watch the NBA, and you could watch the Padres. I'm all for that. And now it just seems like it's harder than ever. And yes, I bought this free sign up or whatever for Apple TV. Of course
you did.
And now I have multiple accounts. I've got one account with Apple TV. I have another account with Apple TV. And I'm going to have this forever.
Yes, I know you will.
For this $9.99 per month is going to be with me until I die.
Correct. Kristen will.
She doesn't know about all my.
Oh, that's good. That is very good.
Because I have a lot of subscriptions.
I have so many that I just don't even know about anymore. Like the other day, we were trying to deal with this Hulu thing, and I'm sure my bill's going to be like $250
on Hulu.
No, total for like all my streaming stuff.
I got you. Yeah.
I'm like, what did I buy?
It's like, it sounds like it's a good deal. And they're like, oh, it's $9.99.
It's nothing. It's fine.
It's $7. But when you have like 7 of them,
it adds up.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, you spend a couple $100.
YouTube TV keeps the price
goes up.
Going
I
up.
like YouTube TV, but I want to be able to watch Padres Pirates. So I got to buy Apple TV Plus.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
You know the moral of the story?
What?
I don't know. But there's one in there. There's one in there.
That's a good moral of that story.
There's something in there. But I bet there's a lot of people listening to us tonight or that are Padres fans that won't even go through the hassle of trying to find this game tonight.
They'll just listen to it
They'll
somewhere
else. They'll watch a recap. They'll go to MLB.com. They'll look at the score. They'll go to Gamecast.
Right.
You know, and it's great when you see it. It's awesome. Apple TV does a really good broadcast. It's just, again, a nuisance.
I don't understand the reach-based probability.
Now, you don't get it or you don't like it?
No.
Like, what are they saying?
I mean, I get it because of like based on the count, based on his batting average, based on a lot of other stuff, right? But I mean,
think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they're saying 3-2 pitch, he's got a 45% chance of reaching. Not there. 55% chance of being out.
Well, actually, he has a 100% chance of being out right now because he's
correct. But it was 45%.
He gets struck out.
I like that though. You don't like that?
It doesn't really do much for me. I'm not sitting there being like, oh man, he's got a 28% chance to be on base.
Honey,
come in.
Grab a drink for me. I can't leave.
Aaron, I can't leave the TV. Come here.
All right, Adrian Garcia Marquez gets us ready for tomorrow at Snapdragon Stadium. SDFC, FC Dallas will join us coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us, John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Dairy Queen. Padres and Pirates underway in Pittsburgh after a rain delay. They are in the top of the third inning. They're scoreless. What'd you tell me, John? Jackson Merrill, he's on a rehab assignment tomorrow in Double-A San Antonio. He should be back here by Monday. Moving over to NBA tonight, you have just one game. Rockets and Warriors, game 6, very crucial game 6. Warriors looking to eliminate the Rockets and move on to the second round of the postseason. And SDFC takes on FC Dallas tomorrow. 5:45 is when our pregame coverage starts. 6:15 is when kickoff is. You can listen to the match right here on San Diego Sports 760. Get big summer flavor in every bite with the new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu featuring new mixing bowl mashups, fan-voted s'mores, and more for a limited time right now at DQ. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
All right, Adrian Garcia Marquez will join us momentarily. SDFC, FC Dallas coming up tomorrow at 6:15 from Snapdragon Stadium. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760 with pregame coverage at 5:45. Jim just mentioned it. The San Antonio Missions have tweeted out that Jackson Merrill will begin a rehab assignment tomorrow in Double-A. Now, he previously played in Double-A San Antonio. Presumably, if he's going to return Monday, Jim, it might just be one game tomorrow, Saturday. Maybe it's Saturday and Sunday, and he's back Monday.
One game.
So you think one game?
I hope so.
I kind of do too. Although that's a lot to kind of send a player to Double-A just for one game and then send him to New York. But that makes sense. All right, so he'll play a game, maybe more, but a game tomorrow for the Missions in Double-A.
Man, this hamstring injury. it was not a couple day thing, that's for sure.
All right, we'll get back to that Jim's Back page coming up as well, but always our pleasure to be joined by Adrian Garcia Marquez, the voice of San Diego FC. You'll hear his call tomorrow night right here on San Diego Sports 760, FC Dallas and SDFC at Snapdragon Stadium. Adrian, great to have you back with us. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. It feels like tomorrow night's an important night, right, for SDFC, having lost each of their last 3 matches.
Absolutely. And first of all, when I started this, and thank you for having me on the show. Yes, it's kind of like a good gut check time. And then talking to Mikey during the week, I know he spoke with Warren Barton. I spoke with Tyler Heaps. The rest of the team, everybody feels the same way right now. So it's a 3-game, the first time ever in history. You have a lot of those, right? History being written every night kind of thing every weekend. And first time in history, they lose 3 in a row, see how they come back. And I think that judging from what I saw, the intensity at practice this week, and everybody is saying, everybody's mind is in the right place. This is a tough team for FC Dallas. They've turned things around from what we saw last season into this season and proving that point. They're going to sort of come back after having a 2-goal deficit against Miami. Now, Miami was rotating guys out. They were waiting for their Wednesday matchup against Vancouver for the Champions Cup, but they still took down Dallas in the undefeatedness nonetheless. And it's a team playing with a lot of confidence, the best road team in MLS. So to answer your question, yes, it's a big-time game for San Diego FC, but at home cooking, home carne asada, you know how that goes. I think the boys are going to do just fine.
Yeah, and I was just about to go talk about FC Dallas here. You know, you would like, out coming off of a losing streak, to not face, the best team on the road this season in MLS, but that's how the schedule has drawn up here. What has made FC Dallas so good on the road this year, Adrian?
I think it's just the attitude with which they play, right? Adaptable. Quill has them all believing in their abilities. I think the attitude change is the biggest difference. He ended a couple of goals the way that he was able to get into the mix against Miami. Peter Musa, who's been here, one of their main players. I mean, they're doing it without certain elements. They have done it without the Lucho Acosta that we're used to seeing. So all of those things, I think, have kind of told us that Dallas is playing like San Diego FC, the success early in the season. They are playing team-oriented football, and they don't take the foot off the gas, and that's what's worked for them.
You know, it had worked so well. Adrian Garcia Marquez with us. I'll call this game tomorrow night. San Diego FC and FC Dallas. Obviously, SDFC have been so good at home at Snapdragon Stadium, and now there's probably an inevitability that you're not going to, remain undefeated, so to speak, at home. But they suffer their first setback. How do you think they respond based on how it played out this past weekend at home?
I think they're going to respond nicely. There are still a lot of questions. I think Mike will be the first to tell you. I know Tyler in his evaluations is also looking at the transfer window, seeing where improvements could be made. But right now, just like any team, right, you have your ups and downs. It's a long season, and what we're seeing is battling at every position in practice, trying to raise their hand, say, "Coach, I'm ready. Give me some minutes, give me some run." And iron sharpens iron, and I think that's the attitude overall. Is all right. It's part of the process. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some. And I mean, if you really were going to start analyzing, overanalyzing, put it into under the microscope, if you will, what those 3 losses have looked like. It could have easily gone in a different direction, but, a ref call here, a situation there, Yappy punching it in last minute, doing a chicharito with his tongue kind of goal, those little strange things that we've seen happen over this losing streak. So it's not as bad as it might seem on paper, but there are improvements. And the best thing out of all of this is that you could build from it, seeing what you've done wrong, tighten up the bolts a little bit, and then come tomorrow, go after Dallas and just like a, big time fight. Unlike the Canelo fight this week, this one is definitely going to have 2 excellent fighters going at each other on Saturday night there at the Murph Dragon.
Chucky Lozano, he had the goal on Saturday. It was the only goal of the match for SDFC for in the first half there, to end the first half. What have you seen from him since he's returned from injury? And do you feel like they need more from him, or do you feel like he's given them a really good boost here since returning from injury?
If you have your palomitas ready, you got your popcorn ready, because Chucky's about to break, I think. We talked about it this week. It just feels like, he's been involved, 6-goal contribution, 5-6 in there, those 7 appearances. So, and Chucky has kind of we've only seen the version of Chucky getting healthier as we speak. Irving, I feel, is about to break out, guys, and get ready again. And it might start tomorrow night. It just feels like Chucky has been involved in a lot of situations. As soon as he steps onto the pitch, the game starts. And then I feel it in the call. Like, here comes the movement, right? Lucas shuttling through, finding a way to get it up that left flank. There's Chucky cutting it back inside. There's on the other side, and already threatening from the jump. And I think that's what we're going to see more of. He's getting more comfortable. He's feeling healthier. And that only means bad news for the other side. Chucky's going to terrorize, I think, starting this weekend, guys. So I think he's in a very good spot. And he's been a leader in practice. He's been a leader as far as being a designated player. He doesn't take a minute off. He runs, he defends. He goes full force at practice, setting the example. Chucky's about to break out, guys.
Adrian Garcia Marquez with us. SDFC, FC Dallas tomorrow night at Snapdragon, 6:15 is when it'll get underway. Pre-game coverage will begin at 5:45. Adrian, what do you make of the Western Conference overall now that we're about a third of the way through the year? SDFC certainly in the postseason conversation, but has there been anything that has surprised you, or how do you look at the standings overall in the West so far?
Well, I mean, the biggest surprise is seeing how, LAFC and LA Galaxy have kind of dropped off. Obviously, the Galaxy is in shambles, being the returning champ. I think we did a number to those poor guys from opening night. But I'm happy. You know what? I'm very happy for Vancouver. That's a team that over the last couple of years doing MLS on Apple TV, and it was always my assignment. It felt like I was in Vancouver quite a bit. So you start to familiarize yourself with the organization, the players. I love Bunny Sartini, who's no longer there, but I mean, it's just a team that's just playing at this incredible level of belief with Brian White and Andres Cubas and Pedro Vite. That is a team to watch, as the word team exemplifies. They're just playing excellent football, and it's not surprising, but I am surprised that they've been riding the wave this long, and they took it to Miami and Conca Champions Cup, and they're waiting now to face Cruz Azul. So I think Vancouver has definitely been sort of a pleasant surprise, and I'm surprised that the Galaxy has struggled this much. I knew they were going to struggle with some of the changes, but not this bad. And the rest of the West, it's going to be a dogfight, guys. This is a long season. Just get ready for it. Summertime starts to hit, and the weather patterns, the players in the weather patterns start to change. Some guys start bowing out sometimes, and some guys start drying out, and other players start to shine when you need them the most. So we're getting into this first third of the season, jumping into the second phase, and I like our chances with the San Diego FC in the West with all the competition, and Vancouver playing really, really well. I like our chances for San Diego FC in the Western Conference.
How much fun has it been to call games at Snapdragon Stadium?
Oof, dream come true, guys. Dream come true. I mean, just going back to the days when I used to go watch the San Diego Sockers there, like the first ever sporting event, professional sporting event I ever got to go to live and witness and feel was the San Diego Sockers playing the Tampa Rowdies. And it still feels that way. I still feel like that kid walking through that area. It's still the same area. It's still the Murph. To me, they could call it Snapdragon, and all of the changes through the years. But to me, that sacred ground is still the Murph. And I get to go into a box. I get to broadcast sports, in this case, for my city, the finest city, and being one of those people that was waiting for so long for the team to arrive at 30 plus years of waiting. Trust me, guys, that excitement that you hear, it's real. I feel it, and I plug into the building. I plug into Frontera SD. I plug into all of you, your guys' comments during the week, the player comments and everything. I feel like the Ultimate Warrior. Remember that?
Yep.
The Ultimate Warrior would just grab the cuerdas and just all nuts. That's me right before pregame, guys. And it's just been a dream come true and a privilege. And that's why I'd ride the thunder every night.
Well, it's been our pleasure to be listening to you week in and week out. We're excited for tomorrow night. Again, SDFC, FC Dallas. You can hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760. Adrian Garcia Marquez, once again, will be on the call. Adrian, appreciate you taking time for us, and have a good one this weekend, all right?
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Marvell Wynn will be joining me tonight, so he'll be making his debut.
Awesome.
Color with us on San Diego Sports 760. Darren's on assignment in Spain right now, Warren in Canada. So we got international men of mystery on our spot. So we're jumping in with Marvell Wynn here next.
We'll be tuned in tomorrow at 5:45. Thank you, Adrian.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, an update here, by the way, from PNC Park, where the Padres and Pirates are underway. And what's the score? Is it scoreless? They're at commercial break.
Yeah, what's going on there?
What is going on is Fernando Tatis Jr. was hit by a pitch, and his arm has
Fallen off?
completely like swelled up. He's got this huge welt on his forearm tonight.
He's left the game.
And he has left the game.
Yep.
So just when the Padres were hoping to get healthier with Arise back and Merrill hopefully back Monday, Fernando Tatis Jr., when was it, Jim? Remind me, a couple of weeks ago when Tatis left the game because of a shoulder.
Yep.
Left the game because of a shoulder, came back, didn't miss any extended time. Tonight has left the game because of a hit by pitch in Pittsburgh for Mitch Keller.
That does not look good. That thing welted up quickly.
Big. Honestly, it probably makes sense to leave the game immediately. You got to ice that thing. Because if assuming it's nothing more than the welt, you got to ice that thing. You can't have that thing swell up all night long. So maybe that's why he left the game. But that's a concern for the Padres tonight. The last thing in the world you want is Tatis missing any time. And he's had a couple of scares now about a month into the year.
I hope it's just a welt. I hope it's just a
Kind of
welt.
looks like a welt.
Like, I hope it's nothing like,
yeah,
beyond
it.
Now, are you watching this? Because
I am.
I feel like Apple TV Plus has really like messed up here. And
is that what's happening?
The broadcast is all messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like it's all messed up.
Good job. Good job, everybody.
It's in like different languages.
Is that Japanese?
All kinds of languages.
What is happening?
And they're showing like an overhead shot. I don't know. I just spent $9.99 on this. This is unbelievable. All right, we'll keep you updated on the other side. We'll see if we get an update on Fernando Tatis Jr., who left tonight's game after getting hit by a pitch with his forearm having a welt on it.
Great.
Here tonight. So
he'd be out for like a year if that happened.
Longer than that. I wouldn't do a radio show ever again.
I know.
All right, updates on Tatis on the other side. Plus Jim's back page. We're here until 6, John and Jim. we can't have nice things. Fernando Tatis Jr., as we touched on briefly, has left tonight's road trip opener in Pittsburgh off the rain delay.
Happening?
He was hit on his forearm by a Mitch Keller pitch, I'm assuming a fastball, and his arm immediately swelled up, and he's got this huge welt on his forearm. He left with the athletic training staff, and now we wait to see his availability moving forward.
Dude, screw you, Mitch Keller.
Yeah, what were you doing, Mitch?
Hey, I have an idea. Throw the ball over the plate one time.
See, we weren't really watching this.
I didn't see it because, we were doing the show.
The broadcast is back.
Oh, that's good.
From Apple TV.
Can you rewind it?
Yeah, I think I can. But I don't know when it happened, dude.
Well,
Yes,
it literally just happened.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, that's not good.
No.
Like the one player, I think you've said it like all month. Like the one player you can't lose is Toddy.
Yeah.
They might not have. I mean, hopefully he's fine.
But they lost him for the game.
For the game. You can live with that. You can lose a player for a game.
You can lose a player for a game, but someone on Instagram, on Twitter, they said what Mike Schilt after the game, Tatis will be day to day, and then tomorrow 10-day IL.
Yeah, no, he's fine. Oh yeah, he tried coming back into the game in the fifth inning. They wouldn't let him. That's how baseball works. All right, well, not a great start.
I mean,
not what we were hoping for.
Here's the other thing too.
I'm listening.
Remember when Schilt last year?
What?
Was like outspoken as far as what are you doing over there?
I'm trying to make this thing work, dude. I couldn't rewind.
All right. Remember when Schilt was like, "Yeah, if they're gonna throw at our players, basically like we're gonna retaliate."
Yeah, but I mean, did they mean to? I haven't even seen this play yet.
When has Mike Schilt ever retaliated? Ever?
Are you calling for retaliation right now?
I'm just saying.
I'm asking.
Mitch Keller just took out the best player on the Padres.
Here we go. All right, we're gonna
watch this in real time,
radio, maybe,
and we're gonna react to this.
Forget about the back page for a second. All right, so it was scoreless with 2 outs at the top of the third inning. It may have been an 0-1 pitch. Let's see. He's in the batter's box. Boom, up and in. Wow.
That's a pitcher trying to throw it inside, and he just lost control there. That looked awful.
Wow, it looked awful. Now, it didn't get him running the elbow. So it's between the elbow and the wrist.
The forearm, John.
Yeah. That's what he has. I don't really have it.
You don't have that. No. That thing welted up fast. That welted up fast. Literally like 30 seconds.
Not even 30 seconds.
Not even. Yeah, right. Oh my gosh.
And he knew he had to leave. And now what you got to do there, now you know what you do after that is you go get an X-ray is what you do after that.
You go ice it.
And then you get an X-ray. That's what you do. Man. Yeah, but you're right. I think if you ice it right away, let's hope they dodge anything. Here's another replay, Jim. Look at this. Ooh. Ugh. How hard was that pitch?
It was in the, was it 95?
That was, yeah. Oof. Not great. Do you have a back page?
I do have a back page, but I'm kind
Was this intentional
about this? I mean, I want to take it as intentional.
You want to take everything as intentional.
I do. I want to have everything result in something intentional.
Was there anything with Padres Pirates last year?
Not that I know of.
I mean, Padres were 6-0 against them last year.
Oh, well, maybe that's it right there. Ugh.
Yeah, it was
brutal. God.
I'm going to keep watching it. You do the, let's get to it.
I had a pirate story too, but I don't even want to read it because
it was a 93-mile-per-hour fastball, by the way.
Ugh. Remember the Paul Skeens debut patch autograph 1-of-1 card?
Forget about the Pirates, Jim.
I know.
Yeah, I remember the card. You said it was worth like millions of dollars or something?
It was purchased in March for $1.1 million.
Yeah.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh, yeah, they bought it for a Pittsburgh store, right?
Yep. It will officially be put on display actually next week at the Ross Park Mall in Pittsburgh. So fans can go look at this card. What's the appeal to that? Like to go look at a card?
I mean, it's a good point, but it actually kind of makes sense as opposed to like just an individual, because then nobody would see it. At least you or I
get it from the standpoint of like you go and see this card and you're like, that's worth $1 million. That's $1 million card right there.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like a good marketing.
Like if you held up your water bottle, like this is $1 million water bottle. I bet that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's not, though.
It's not even
Just an
close.
LG.
It's like worth $1 maybe.
10.
$10 for that thing?
Yeah, Nalgene. These are nice. BPA free. Come on.
What are you talking about?
Do you know BPA free? Because BPA is bad, so they take it out of plastics.
Oh, okay.
What else you have?
Krispy Kreme, John, is giving away free donuts on May 7th. No purchase necessary. On May 7th, stop by your local Krispy Kreme shop and enjoy a free original glazed donut. No purchases necessary. No strings attached. Here's what you need to know. Available all day, in shop or through drive-thru. Limited one per guest. No ID or purchase is required. So you literally can just drive up, ask for a donut, get a donut, peace out, bye. And then you can put on a hat and then
do it again.
Do it again. And then you can put on a fake mustache and do it again.
Now, is there a reason specifically for May 7th?
Oh.
It's not a special day.
Oh.
What's today? So is this a weekend day, May 7th? No, it's actually during the week next week.
Next
right?
Wednesday.
Okay, next Wednesday. Are you going to do that?
I haven't been to Krispy Kreme in a while.
So you could do it.
But
get it for Aaron.
Where's the closest Krispy Kreme? Like Claremont?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That's right. You don't go to Krispy Kreme.
I don't, really.
And finally, do you play Grand Theft Auto, John?
No.
That's such a dumb question to ask you.
I don't play. I would have played video games if they would have put, what was the college football game we obsessed over last year? College Football 25?
Yeah.
If they put it on PC, we would have gotten it. I would have gotten it for my computer.
Yeah.
But they don't have it on PC.
No.
But no, I'm not playing.
I'm glad I didn't buy a PS5 just to play.
I know. You would have been obsessed for a month.
It would have been a problem for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And then I would have stopped playing it.
Yeah.
And then I would have spent all this money on it and been like, what am I doing?
Right.
And then they come out with a new one this year. And it's like, what the hell's going on?
And you're like $1,000 in it.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Grand Theft Auto game, what makes it like a big story is that GTA 6, which
Grand
is
Theft Auto 6.
Yes, is now coming out on May 26th, 2026. But it was supposed to be released this year. It was pushed back again. We have, well, not we, but Grand Theft Auto fans of the game have been waiting since 2013.
No, they haven't.
A new Grand Theft Auto game. And it's been rumored like time and time and time again.
Come on.
And finally, when Rockstar Games came out and said, we are finally releasing GTA 6, everyone's like, finally. And it's been pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. They said this in a letter today. We are very sorry that this year, that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding the new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support with every game we've released. Blah, 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 blah,
Wait,
blah,
so
blah, blah,
this
blah,
is
blah.
like college football where you went 10 years between games and
But
we're
this-
actually longer with why such a delay?
Just it's taken forever. Now, Grand Theft Auto is probably known as the most popular like video game of all time, or one of the most popular.
Can't you just like do anything?
Yes, you can. Yes. The best part about Grand Theft Auto when I used to play it back in the day is I would do all the cheat codes for the guns and I would just like kill everybody. Like I would take a bazooka and I'd go up to somebody and just fire that bazooka off and just like just
Well,
just
don't
destroy
bring
this
any
person.
bazookas into the studio.
And then I would do a cheat code for like tanks and I would just blow the whole town up.
It's a good thing you don't manage the big leagues. You would take eye for an eye literally after this Tatis got hit by a pitch. All right. If you missed anything today, first of all, Marshall, great job, man, this week. Excellent work for Brent. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. For Marshall and Jim, I'm John. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you Monday. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye.